Good morning and welcome back to Cannabis in Canada with Jason Wilcox. It is March the 2nd, 2019, and yes, we're starting to do some back-to-back shows and starting to rev this up and get back to what grows and how things go about the show and all that other shit that I'm trying to rhyme. And I don't know, how the hell is everybody doing today? It's Saturday. It is a beautiful sunny day here in British Columbia. I'm not sure what it is for the rest of the country, but I'm certainly going to go out and get my vitamin K. I apologize for this live broadcast. I don't know what it is with Wirecast, but I'm setting it up to set the show off at a certain time, and then I'm not sure why, but it's not actually letting the feed go through. It might be because we broadcast to 3 different places simultaneously, so when that broadcast is going through, I'm assuming there's some sort of conflict. And then when there's 3 computers hooked up and an ATM machine in the background here, you get a lot of, and then now the new additional mic, even though it doesn't look like much, mics actually take up quite a bit of bandwidth on your USB board. So, friends, please share around. I am doing this solo this morning. We are talking about everything that's cannabis in Canada. You got a topic you want to talk about, throw it in here. Let's talk Cannabinese. You want to talk cannabis? Let's talk Cannabinese. Let's learn a new language together. And let's talk all that's cannabis. That's what matters to me anyway. There's also, we've been talking about live resin and a few different things. I've also got a few articles here I just wanted to pull up and go through. It isn't much different than any of our other shows. Newmarket, Ontario. Bar Applause just messaged me. If you're watching the show, I wouldn't be able to point you to anybody in Newmarket. No, I know where Newmarket, Ontario is. I'm from Oshawa. But yeah, I wouldn't know where to point you to. In that respect, and that's sad to say. Now that I think about it, like, that's really sad that we're sitting here in a time of legalization, and that's what I got to say to you, and that's unfortunate. But I'm gonna try to at the same time get this shared out. If you guys feel free, please share it into only the groups that are supportive of you. Please don't spam any groups. There's no need to do that. People out there spamming groups are doing that, and it's really just to try and get their hit counts up, and I understand that, but it doesn't do Cannabis in Canada any justice to go and they share stuff in other groups unless you're a member of that group and in good standing with that group, and they don't mind having that up. It's sort of like in our group. We have a very large group in Cannabis in Canada. It's a closed group, and we don't allow anybody to do live feeds there that aren't working with our company, because we're a media company. So to each their own. There's no right or wrong. It's just kind of the way it is. Check. Sorry, guys. That's going to be a learning curve for me, this new microphone. When I switch off, I'm not sure why I did that. Okay. Oh, because I went higher, maybe. You know what? I'm just going to stick my microphone up here, and this will make it easier. I often wish I had you guys here to be able to see what I have to deal with. And trying to make all this work. but it's okay. It's what makes a good show eventually. We're just now, again, I've been working diligently. All right, I don't know. Sorry, guys, with the microphone. I gotta kind of pay attention to two screens here in order to know that my microphone's working. It is new, so it could be some IRQ conflicts going on there, whatnot. But we're coming back through here. I apologize for these hiccups, but at the same time, it is what it is. It's media broadcasting, and when you're doing it by yourself, it actually speaks to the multitasking abilities of a given person. This microphone certainly makes it a lot more fun for me because I can sit back and go through my notes through my computers, and also into Desktop Presenter, where we can bring in some articles, which I'm going to start to do now, and be able to discuss what's going on here in Canada. For my friends in Facebook, I'm coming in right now. For my friends on YouTube, I'm coming in right now. So if I haven't said good morning, or if you feel like I'm ignoring your question, please don't. I'm not. I'm just kind of waking up myself still. Okay. Yeah, I still got yesterday's information up on this video. I'll edit it later. But to my friends in the chat, that hasn't changed. Shoot. Or is that yesterday's chat? Guard your privacy and abide. I apologize for the lack of name change. We only got a few people watching. Please share around. Remember to like and share around. Today's topic, we will touch on 420. We will touch on the farmers market aspect of 420. But at the end of the day, 420 is a protest. And I think that's the fundamental thing I want to get to. That was part of yesterday's show, was CBD and 420. These are two things we wanted to talk about. With 420 coming up, it's going to be a very interesting year. We don't pull punches here on Cannabis in Canada. You know, we'll speak truth to power on every aspect of the deal. And right now that we've legalized, we're still protesting regulations. But as noted on yesterday's show, and just to recap yesterday's show, 420 is not a farmer's market, it's a protest. A constitutional right to assemble and oppose regulations and or laws that govern your society that you disagree with. It's your constitutional right. It is not your constitutional right to sit down there and sell drugs just because it's a protest. And the only problem that I have, my brothers and sisters that do get arrested or might get arrested at upcoming events as they set up their wares, it ain't the landscape's changing. If anybody noticed, Thaddeus's booth got hit. They raided Thaddeus's booth on day 2 in the Central Plains. It's Medman. So to think that they're not going to hit us, raid us, try to stop us, is insane. They're going to try and turn, in my own opinion, again, this is solely, I'll wear this, my own opinion, I truly, truly, truly believe that 420 this year is going to be even more bought out. As you can see, there's about a couple hundred booths, maybe 300 booths, $500 a piece. Where's all that money go? I know the stage costs money. I know working out deals with the city would cost money if we actually worked with the city in the context of a permit, but we don't. So my problem has always been, I mean, the Emery started doing it years ago, started charging for booths. They started doing it in Toronto. I've been a starch proponent of charging people to protest, because I remember standing at the art gallery days with David Mulveen, with Dana Larson, with Mark Emery, you know, with Jody, with all of us, and Michelle Rainey, locking arms and saying that if the police come any closer, they'll have to rip us apart. That was a game plan. That now has blown up to 80,000 people coming out to an event. So should we coordinate with the city? Absolutely. Is there any money being exchanged between the facilitators of 420 and the city? No. Because it's illegal. There's no permit. So how do you charge for a non-permitted public event where you're still risking getting arrested? Anyway, that was a recap on yesterday's show. And to my homies in Toronto, I will probably be in Toronto for this year's 420. We see a lot of love back east, and I love you guys back. We really do. We see the love because people who have been around the movement, seen the different antics, seen the different stuff that's happened in the past 25 years. As soon as I'm done my documentary book part, writing part, I'm thinking about really just writing about my own experience with 420 and my own experience with fighting to free the cannabis plant so people can use it, only to see over 100 corporations come in and monopolize my country, and my government work with those corporations, which is a conflict of interest at best. You know, I would call it a conspiracy. But they did it nonetheless. And right now, I will speak for the medical patients of Canada. Reasonable, dignified access is not met. We can go all the way back to 2001. It's 2018. 17 years later, you still don't got reasonable access for patients. Let alone the weekend warrior rec users that want to go to the CCBO. And everybody's saying to me, you know, they're short because they can't grow enough. And I'm like, no, you just don't know what's going on. They're making more money shipping it to Bolivia, Ireland, Germany, Australia. They're making more money shipping it over there at $600 a tincture vial. Why the hell would they sell it here in Canada when they can't compete with us? They can only go 30 milligrams of CBD. We do 1,000. 1,000. How can you compete with us in Canada? That's why they're sending all this shit overseas. There ain't no shortage. And there ain't no shortage in the underground either. That's a big misconception. Everybody says, oh, well, we don't have it. We're short on cannabis. And it's like, we're not short. If 20 years in jail didn't change anything before, what's going to change it now? Because there's legal corporations doing it? It's just called modern day moonshining. That's all it is. Modern day moonshining of cannabis. Oh, I gotta grab another coffee. Let me get into Facebook here. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Saturday. This is getting very political up in here because I'm watching previous lawyers, previous warriors of the cannabis culture getting jumped on by people that just don't know what they're talking about, to be honest. Trying to friggin', oh, you cross sides. There's no sides. There's no us and them. If you don't remember, the Emorys and 80,000 people with the big sign of Justin Trudeau up there. Let's vote in Justin with the joint out of his mouth and the rolling paper packs. Remember? That was a national campaign by the Emorys to get Justin elected. Only he right up the ass for both of them. That's what they got. I love them both. I love you, Jody. I love you, Mark. But I don't think you did the culture a service when you did that. I'm a lot more open to speak my mind now, too, which I wasn't doing before. I wasn't speaking my mind enough, and it's time that we start speaking our mind because this country is getting terrorized by corporations. We're getting monopolized, and we're getting forced to use less cannabis than what we need when there's no lethal dose. They don't even have a dose. It's not in pharmacopoeia, so doctors can't look up the dose. But the doctors remain the gatekeeper to the drug. Why is a doctor the gatekeeper? Why does a doctor have to sign? And again, the doctor doesn't prescribe. The doctor authorizes. Health Canada is supposed to just process. Now, on the note of Health Canada, shit, I didn't have my pen. On the note of Health Canada, I have gotten the letters and I have seen them. They've been sent to me. Believe me, guys, our lawyers, John Conroy, is on top of this as well. Now, he has said that it is legal. It is in the ACMPR that they can send you a letter and they can ask you for pictures of the door of your unit to prove it's an individual unit. It's for proof of residence and clarity of residence is what they're saying. But they're sending these letters out more and more. And to the unsuspecting patient, I highly suggest you read that letter because language is powerful. It is a suggestive letter. It is not a regulatory letter. It is not a legal letter. It is not a you have to take pictures. It's a if you don't got a bill or if you can't prove to us this address any other way, then you can take a picture of the outside of the building, take a picture of the inside, make sure that there's a divider wall so we know it's an independent unit. That's all they want. But I don't believe that's all they want. And I'm sure you don't either. I know some of you are thinking, what the fuck's he talking about? Well, trust me, when you got a bigger garden and you've taken on the government, both Vicky, me, Kelly, Becky, all of the coalition leadership have been getting our licenses returned 3 times. 3 times. Each time for a different reason. And they return these applications, and now the 3rd time it's because they want to verify the address. Well, I thought that's what the landlord signed for, was to verify the address. So I guess the landlord's signature, I'm a fraud. Because that's not good enough now. Now they want you to send in something additional. So we send in property tax to prove we own the goddamn warehouse. That's not good enough. Ultimately, they're seeking what I would say is a warrantless search. I've often taught people about the threshold of the doorway. Google Jason Wilcox versus the police and you'll see how I handled that particular situation. That's an important one. That particular situation really put us into I don't know, put me into a different light. It changed things for me. Good to see you, Jason Steele, back on the show again this morning. I ain't getting these comments here. All right, turn this down. And I also got my earpiece in, so I don't know why I'm turning it down. Okay, and Rob Klein, it's good to see you as well, my friend. Okay. My dog has been asked about 3 times last year and only 10 grams. A day to boot. Remember, 10 grams is 98 plants. Or no, 20 grams is 98 plants. Sorry, 10 grams is half of that. So that's a 10 gram license. The average doctor will not go over 30 grams. I have a 30 gram license, but the average doctor will not go and give you a 30 gram license. They don't believe we need that much. You really, you have to have the kind of the doctors that are willing to stand on your side, fight with you, you know, and back you up really when other people wouldn't. And that's ultimately what it comes down to. So I'm going to pop off for a quick break here. I got a bunch of racket banging in the background. I'm going to go make a coffee, and I might whip this. These diamonds are, like, there's diamonds in here, but they're still forming. They can take up to 30 days. Because this was, like, really fresh frozen, they flip fast. So I'm not sure if I'm going to flip this today and spin it, or if I'm going to wait. And I know Justin McLeod was telling me, no, Jason, no, don't do it. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't know. I sort of want to do it. Anyway, it's food for thought. We could whip this on this show. And if we whip it, you'll see how easily live resin is made. It's taken from this and flipped into a sauce. And I was showing pictures of the other sauce that I made. It's really just a bunch of little crystals. The longer you wait, the bigger the crystals get. It's not rocket science. But it is cannabis chemistry. On that note, we will be talking more when I get back about upcoming seminars, private seminars that you'll be able to attend if you're a Cannabis in Canada member of our group. And if you're not, look up the group, come join the group. We have a great moderation team, and we're constantly educating and trying to help people lead a better life with respect to quality of life. So using cannabis for quality of life is proprietary for me, and I think it makes a big difference for the future. The black market is thriving, Dennis. It is on YouTube. Dennis, the black market is thriving. Now, the black market's bitching, and they're complaining because they can forecast the future. It's only a matter of time till supply and distribution and these licensed producer dispensaries are set up all around us. And once they can meet the test of the courts for reasonable access, my God, that's when I fear that they might make another sweep at the medical program. Because then, if you can only grow 4 plants, and if that's not enough for you, because that's what's legally allowed in BC, well, then you can order from your provincial formulary. And what I mean by that are the people that cover your drugs. I will also note, no other medical patient in Canada pays for any other prescriptions with tax. Only cannabis, because it was designed for recreational. It was never designed for us. Marijuana for medical purposes programs, really? It's called cannabis. Funny how quick they changed the name when the judge slapped them with a ton of information and the crown got squashed by our lawyers. Man, I'm a proud man. I'm a proud man to say that, but at the same time, it is what it is. I'm not going to weigh in on Mark Dennis. When it comes to Mark Emery, I've known him for a lot of years, and I'm not going to say anything more. All the way back to the BC3 and before. As I noted earlier, I know who the major activists are out here in BC. I know who's done what, and I will never ever, I don't give a fuck who you are, okay? Whatever somebody's fetishes are on the side, or whatever the fuck they do on their private time, that's their business. I'm not saying what Mark does is right or wrong. I'm just saying it's his business. The one thing I'll also say, the man did a very long stint in jail because he done some of the most radical activism seen here in Canada. You going to pool? Huh? No? Because he's yeah, because he's Dennis, my problem with that was, I was the one that came online. I don't know if y'all remember when Cannabis Culture was sold. I don't know to said buyer, but Cannabis Culture was sold. And when I realized it was sold, and I seen the Emerys going all over the country, yeah, sorry, quite frankly, going all over the country, and really, opening up cannabis culture stores, which I knew they didn't have the money to do, so they were investing, which is good. They kind of got screwed in the end. Thank God Jack Lloyd was able to get them off their charges. They kind of got screwed in the end, but at the same time, they were going to be the Starbucks of dispensaries. They had no problem with that. I would remind everybody that Mark Emery sold marijuana seeds. He didn't sell cannabis. That didn't start until we were just about to legalize. Now what the country's done is torn apart our culture, torn apart our leadership, weakened our warriors, taken our lawyers, like Mr. Tusaw. Smart move on Canopy Growth's part. Shit, if I was running Canopy Growth, I'd hire Kurt. Damn good lawyer. But here nor there, that isn't Kurt changing sides. I wish Kurt well. Kurt is an amazing fellow to meet, to sit down with. He's one of the smartest cats I ever met, and he really is a social justice lawyer, and that's what matters. Yeah, you guys are freezing your asses off in Alberta, -40. Holy shit. I thought I was cold here at like -2. So BC's like, yeah. But Jason Steele, don't whip still. All right. Yeah, I'm telling you, if we whip it, we can whip it into friggin' live diamonds. But yeah, Saturday morning, what can I say? I'm going to switch this off to a quick commercial break. This is just some coverage of Lyft, so I can have a chance to make myself another coffee. And we'll see you guys back in 8 minutes and 23 seconds. Cheers.
This is Lyft 2019. I believe this is the 5th Lyft conference to go, and we have been here every year holding it down as always. We're going to cover all the different booths, show you what legalization in Canada looks like now, and let's see what it's going to look like in the future. There is a lot of stuff here that has to do with everything from using cannabis, growing cannabis, making extracts, using extracts. You name it, it's here, and we're going to cover it all. We look forward to bringing it to you here on Cannabis in Canada. We'll see you in the next segue.
Howdy, we're here at Lyft & Co. Here at the Cannabis Expo here in Vancouver. Big shout out to Cannabis Canada. Big vendor, a lot bigger than it was last year. So come by, enjoy, and say hi to me. I'll be here at the info booth, right at the entrance.
We're at the Lyft Conference 2019 at the Green Planet booth, and I just wanted to make a big shout out to Cannabis Canada, Jason Wilcock and Vicky Dabbs. You guys are one of the pioneers in the YouTube cannabis frontier, and we owe a debt of gratitude for you in regards to the coalition against repeal for every medical cultivator in Canada. Thank you so much, Jason Wilcox, and it's been a great journey, and can't wait to see more and really see the future of cannabis in Canada now that we have legalization. Keep it up, guys. Thanks so much.
With Method 7, and we make performance optics that color balance the light. So we notch filter out the light. It takes the extreme reds and yellows that you might get in HPS light, and as the light passes through, we notch filter out the reds and yellows and bring the blues and greens to life, so what your eye sees under normal white light conditions. We do HPS, we do red and magenta LEDs. We have a lens for full spectrum or white LEDs. Our newest pair called the Agent 939s. It's the most advanced polycarbonate lens in the world in that it filters out infrared heat as well as blocks UV. No other lens in the world can do that right now. We spent 2 years with Carl Zeiss Optics to achieve that. And we do Zeiss Optics for all of our lenses and Italian frames.
My name is Brad. I'm here with West Coast Gifts. We have a wide variety of glass lines as far as red eye glass, Gear Premium, Cheech and Chong. Lots of fun different colors to set us aside from the competition. Our red eye tech line here, lots of fun percolation, different colors and designs. We're always trying to step up our game with new flashy colors. Our Gear Premium line's really nice for someone looking for that really high functioning technical piece. We have lots of really nice recyclers or fab eggs. Lots of fun designs with skulls or lips. A lot of people have been really loving our silicone line. With the silicone pieces, it's great because it's the last piece you're ever going to buy. It's not going to break down on you. You throw it in the freezer, freeze up that resin and squeeze that right off. And we got that beautiful head honcho piece available in a couple of different colors, including glow in the dark for when you're looking for that late night toke. Our Cheech and Chong line has been really, really popular. We got our boys Cheech and Chong here. Lots of different pipes and bongs from them. My favorite is their the Labrador pipe. I'm sure we all remember that moment in the movie. Vaporizers are a really nice thing we carry here. Lots of different options as far as my favorite personally, the Arizer Argo. Great for sticking in your pocket, about the size of a BlackBerry, small little glass tube inside, really easy to use. Or our newest vape, the Rocket, which comes, you can buy some wax liquidizer and essentially get your own product inside of a small little vape. Very easy, friendly to go, take it to the concerts, wherever you want to be. West Coast Gifts is your one-stop shop for anything head shops. Thanks, guys.
Well, here we are at LIFT 2019, and wow, can I say it's been amazing? Cannabis is legal in Canada, and in 2019, we had our first licensed dispensaries here in Vancouver just open. LIFT came a week later. 2 days ago, they opened up another dispensary on Robson Street, and here we are today really seeing how the industry is about to change and what we're looking forward to see for 2019. I'm here with some beautiful ladies that are working with us, and how's the event been for you ladies? Let me tell me more. Come on.
Oh, the event's been amazing. We have the last couple days between the industry night yesterday and now having the public in. It's been great to see the different questions, to see all the lovely faces, new and the faces that we've already met before. So, I mean, it's great. This is a great time. What do you think?
What does Liz think? We're having a great time. Well, you know what? What we're here doing today, we're doing a lot of education. Education on standardization, quality control. We talk with a lot of licensed producers here about the active water content in their cannabis, and you know what? We're just having fun. Yeah.
Okay, here representing Delta 9 Pack. We are a cannabis-specific packaging company, print, and also storage containers. So we offer a variety of exit packaging storage containers for the industry. We have our pop-top containers, which are all 100% customizable. We do the labeling for them as well. Our pre-roll containers, custom colors available. We have our flower packaging or edible packaging in bags. They're all food grade safe, and also pass the ATSM certification. Push and turn, and our newest line, which is our recycled plastic. So our goal as a company is to move towards using products that are 100% recyclable. We're looking into the ocean plastics, we're looking into the hemp. We're trying to move away from the wasteful materials in regards to the packaging throughout the cannabis industry. So our goal as a company is to continue to move forward to get the certification on the recyclable materials. And we are based out of Ontario. You can check out our website at www.delta9pack.com. We do shipping overnight, 1 to 2 business days throughout Canada. So, thank you.
Perfect. Hi, I'm Gibson from Gibson's Glassworks. I'm here at the LIFT Expo. This is a piece that I made and designed on a pizza box at the Great Canadian Glass Gathering. Has over 20 people involved in making it, and it's a one-of-a-kind piece. All the pieces on this table are all one-of-a-kind original pieces. This is my production end, and I've been at the LIFT Expo here. This is day 2, and if you're looking to get some glass, make sure to get it from a Canadian glass blower. Thank you.
Say hi from Bovada to everyone here at LIFT enjoying cannabis in Canada. We're super excited to be here, meeting all the growers, all the consumers, retailers, everyone in the industry, having a great time. Want to take it away, Scotty?
We love Vancouver, love the show, love cannabis in Canada. We're having a good time, just hanging out and throwing out packs to everyone. Cheers.
Alright, welcome back to Cannabis in Canada with Jason Wilcox. After a short delay there, thanks to our sponsors, Beard Brothers Concentrate, Pacific Northwest Garden Supply, Green Planet Nutrients, Geopots, Gorilla Tents, T&B Naturals, and the list goes on. Method 7 sunglasses, we've seen them in the lift video there. And you can see the enhancer spinning around there up top with the T&B Naturals, another big one. So, yeah, I wanted to dip off there long enough to get a coffee. Two chains. Good morning to everybody. I'm hoping you're having a wonderful Saturday morning, and for those of you that are hungover, so be it. Last night was one of the few Friday nights I didn't have any business meetings or nothing, and I certainly didn't have any drinks, so it was one of those kind of chill nights, just relaxed nights, and probably why I'm feeling a little bit better this morning. But yeah, just keeping up with the comments here. So I don't know, what are you guys dabbing on this morning? Like, what are you guys like? Again, we've got people from across the country. Screens froze on Facebook. Oh, the screens froze on Facebook. Thank you. That helps. I do know how to fix that, I think. Check, 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 check. Check, check. Check, check, check. Check, check. Check, 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 check. I don't know, is audio coming through now? That's a good question. Because it's not giving me the green light that it's coming through. Check, 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 check. Interesting. Okay, so I guess you guys cannot hear me. Or you can hear me. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's my computer that's acting funny. You guys hear that check so many times? I'm freaking crazy. So yeah, I actually took a quick look at these dimes. This hasn't been opened in like 72 hours. And yeah, just to see the difference between, there's a couple different methodologies that were used in doing this extraction. So now, see, I can't tell if my audio is working. I can only depend that you guys will tell me if there's any feedback, because I'm not seeing it come through here, which is very strange. But oh well, it's coming through. I can hear it in my ear, so I'm going to forget that. Yeah, this sauce it's still sauce. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I can whip it, but it's not the consistency. I think there's too much air to product material. I think it should be more like half full with half amount the air, 50% air to 50% water weight. That would be my thoughts, but I don't freaking know. Thank you guys. Please let me know on either chat, and ladies, on either chat, Facebook or YouTube, to let us know. We got two different titles. Facebook has one title and YouTube has another, because I didn't update the title. But it does raise the bar once again and raise the question, you know, is it a farmer's market? Is it a protest? what is 420 now that we legalize? And you know, at the end of the day, it's still a protest. And I think that that's the one thing that we keep going back and we keep touching on. OG enjoying my Saturday. Yeah, no, it is Saturday. That's why I want to whip this. I'm just waiting to get Vicky come down, and I know you guys want me to just let it go, but I don't know. You can see why. I mean, it's really good, but I can feel it getting thickened up, and I think there's just too much air in there. And the fact that I just opened it and let fresh air in there again, I mean, it's got amazing terpene. It tastes great, burns great. But other than that, and you can really taste the flavonoids. All right. No, 420, I would agree. Rob Klein, I would agree. 420 is a day for us. It's our day. 420's always been our day, and this is what bothers me, is because I go back to the OGs of this BC movement, the original Compassion Club, the original 420s, the original sit-ins, we used to call them, before we called them. Well, there was still 420, but they were sit-ins. There was only so many people willing to show up and light a joint and have officers standing across the street knowing that they might come and arrest you. But there were activists that stood and did that. That's how we got to where we are. We didn't get here because some politician said, hey, it's wrong to continue to prohibit, you know, cannabis. What they did was they changed the laws based on what medical patients showed them over a 20-year tenure. From California, from all over America into Canada, we've seen medical marijuana being legalized. Check. New microphone keeps going in and out. Hopefully it's still coming through right now. I cannot see. So please let me know if the mic dies. Let me know, because it's a delay too. I'm not going to hear. Jason Steele, I can trust you the best here out of the people I'm looking at in the, as far as giving me fast feedback. If you're if there's any sound, and same with Norman Longstyle, you guys have been with the show a long time. If there's any problems, please let me know. Right now my software is just glitching because I'm running the 3 computers. I'm trying to build the studio out. There's actually 4 if you can include the ATM machine. Like this is a $2,000 machine in and of itself. You know, so when you want to talk about doing broadcasting, whether that's a studio, you know, and it's funny because we see a lot of people out there saying, I'm broadcasting and this is my broadcast studio, and they actually got studios. They actually got really fancy websites and really fancy and cool stuff, but they also have some of the richest people in the country funding their studio. So, you know, it's kind of like comparing apples to oranges. But I'm up for the challenge. I'm always up for the challenge. A conduit to the community or a conduit to a base is what it took to make a coalition. Now I want to get back to just talking about dabbing, having a good time, understanding the origins. The origins and the providence of 420. Because I seen it last year, the year before that. I seen it, the Tilray signs, the stuff getting hucked off the stage that was LP. I seen it. So have the facilitators already, in part, sold out? Well, money talks. My question is, what in the fuck does a licensed producer have to protest? What, that they have the legal right to import and export fucking cannabis cross-country? What is it exactly that they're protesting? Because if they're protesting the same regulations we are, well, that might be a different thing. But really, what is it? Good afternoon, Bonnie. But again, what is it? That becomes the next question. And it's really scary times that we're living in, because nobody is asking the hard questions except the lawyers and the judges and the people that normally look out for us. They're doing their jobs, but honestly, it's on us. We're the civilians of Canada. We're free people. We're free men and women, and we choose to do what we want to do. It's 10:20 on a Saturday morning, and we got a couple people watching, and that's really, I'm not used to that part, but at the same time, I know people will watch this later, and that's what matters. As long as we're getting messages out, and this morning's show isn't really about getting as much. You're right, Rob Klein. That's why I'm hoping that one of these licensed producers, there's 100 of them, will actually recognize that you need a conduit to the community, and you need a consultant that actually knows cannabis to actually sell your wares. You might be a corporation with a fancy website, with excellent marketers, with excellent marketing schemes, all kinds of funnels built into your website. You're still not going to sell shit because nobody knows who you are. You're new. You're the new kid on the block. Get a couple of the old kids on the block, start hanging out with them, your life gets a lot better real quick. Go up against those people, and you get what we have here in Canada right now, a quasi-war between the underground and the licensed producers. That can't be understated. A quasi-war. So you're legalized, but we have to still worry about being criminalized. These are serious things that we have to look at and pull up. So you guys can see our gorilla dancing again there. Still haven't named him. I don't know you guys any funny names for that gorilla, but we still haven't named him. I haven't been able to figure out what to name him. He dances better than I do, I know that much. Now, the harm reduction work that's being done that I've seen, sorry, I'm just reading a post from John Conroy. Yeah, John's just saying get rid of mandatory minimum stuff. Okay, so I know I had to jump in, make sure that's nothing that's just breaking. You know, they're just saying Justin Trudeau, doesn't look good for his office and his people. They're going to get kicked out. And you know what? Good. I never liked Justin. I never voted for Justin. I never supported Justin. And it's because it wasn't Justin that came up with legalization. It was Harper. Of all people, the Conservative government came up with legalization and monopolization. Lord knows Harper was good with that. Please remember to like my page. I'm sitting here at 25 people to hit 3,000. If you can remember to like my page, please, that would be a big help as well, friends. You know, we put this show out for free. Unlike other shows you might watch on TV that cost a lot of money to put out, aside or on the internet, sorry, aside from stuff like Cannabis Culture. There's going to be a few other places that you see that are really fancy and really popping out. I would just remind people that these are full-blown studios backed with big investors, and that's a big difference between people trying to do stuff on their own from home. There's a big difference, and then you got to look at the profit margin, because what we're learning now anyway is that there's a sublimator thing. James Hanneman. I haven't seen a sublimator dial in a while. We got our sublimator up in the cupboard. Shit, I'm jumping all over. He's your Shatter Time mascot. There you go, Norman. You know what? Maybe we should do that. Bring the gorilla on only when we do Shatter. That might work, but the problem is I'm getting into this terp sauce thing now. Check, check, check. Okay, hopefully that's still coming through. Check, 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 check. Oh. Yeah, it's still coming through. All right. So, yeah, that gives you an idea of the delay that I'm dealing with right now, and I'm not sure why. And to the people, I'm getting a lot of friend requests. I've noticed in the past couple of shows. I can't accept any more friends after 5,000. They lock us off. So please just like the public page, and then I believe there's I'm not sure if it's a bell or there's a button up that you can click that will notify you when we go live, or just put it in your bookmarks for CannabisInCanadaInc.com, and you'll be able to get when our show times are and what we'll be discussing. As soon as we finish dialing in what the hell it is that we're doing. Right now it's just a Saturday morning, and I just felt like coming on here and smoking some weed, doing some dabs. This is some of my own homegrown. You want to see really good homegrown? Look at these trikes. You guys can see that because of the light. I'm just moving this bud around. This isn't bone dry. This is actually trikes falling off the outside because it's all hand trimmed. But smells beautiful. Look forward to digging into this. So I'm gonna keep that going. I'm also looking for the article. And the also thing I wanted to touch on was to make sure that I say and make sure that it is said to my friends that do collect the money for these 420s. Please remember, this isn't personal. It's not between yourself and I or whoever. It's really just a matter of justice and truth and what should be done. People shouldn't. Again, I guess if you're going to be using it as a farmer's market and selling wares, then you should be allowed to have. I guess you should be allowed to rent a space that is. This is where I get confused. Again, it's a park. It's a park that's just down the street from my condo, and at that park, it's a public park. So you can't rent the public park. You can only get a permit, which the city has already said they're not going to give, because you're not allowed to smoke in the parks. So smoking 420 at the park breaches the law. But there's so many people, there's nothing they can do about it except comply and try to relocate us. Another big part of it. Huh? Okay. Shit, what else am I doing here? Advice is sick of my cannabis infused chocolate. 26-year-old Manitoba mother's morning appearance. Yeah, and I'm gonna get into that after the next break, which is gonna be the topic of kids. There's been a few different parents that have had their kids come home now stoned off infused edibles and infused chocolate, and there's nothing we can really do to stop that. That was happening before legalization. It's going to happen after. Every 420, at least 50 people went to the hospital thinking they were dying because they were just paranoid and freaking out because they smoked too much cannabis, or because they ate, usually 95% of the time, they ate too much cannabis. So at the end of the day, did anybody die? No. Everybody went home and slept it off. That being said, it's another thing. It is what it is. Bonnie says she hopes you're feeling better, Vicky.
Oh, mercy. Thank you.
So this is yeah, this is my own weed. So you can see, you know, when you do your own weed and you got trichomes just sticking off your fingers like this. This is like the ooey gooey. The only problem is it gets all over your computers and shit. So but it smells awesome. You smell that?
It smells good. I'm all stuffy this morning. I'm way stuffy.
I told you I thought we might be getting sick.
Honestly. I'm all stuffy this morning.
Are you going to the Body Energy?
No.
Alright.
I'm going for bad stuff. A day off.
No, I meant for juices.
I'll go get juices later.
I'll buy us a couple juices. If you want some for your... I'm thinking cold kicker, that's all.
Yeah, I might actually.
Cold kicker might boot that cold before it goes full blown, that's all. Anyway, I'm still live here, guys, and as you can see, it's a very improv live show. It's not I'm not going to pretend it's anything it's not. You guys know who we are. And you guys know you can ask questions, and we can get really sticky. Yes, I'm reading Jason Steele's comment. Really sticky fingers. This is why I don't generally roll my weed on the show. I have them pre-rolled. When I'm smoking, I've been dabbing so much. Vicky has brought dabbing into my life that I've done nothing but dabbing, except for when you grow your own. When you master curing cannabis and you learn how to trap terpenes, you know, like this, in your final product, and you're really good with organics, then you'll be really you'll be tempted to go back to, like I am right now, going back to smoking some flower for today and also doing dabs. At the end of the day, dabs will always be stronger than smoking, but at the same time, I'm an old school smoker, so I started with the growing. I'm still, you open up a jar or a bag of weed, I want to smell some dank ass shit. So people will say, you don't know shit? It's like, no, man, motherfucker, you don't know shit. If that shit don't smell like something, Fruity Pebbles, some motherfucking fruitiness, some zestiness, some citriness, some friggin' pineness, if it ain't got none of that, then you got poop scoop dupe. You don't got you got the doobies of the poop scoop, and that's no good. And you'll notice that as well in your flavonoids. A lot of people don't realize that in the essential oils, I hear everybody talk about terpenes. Terpenes, terpenes, terpenes. And it's like, yeah, terpenes are great. But there's also another essential oil that resides outside the trichome that rides right along with the terpenes, and it's called flavonoids. That's the taste. Terpenes is the smell. Flavonoids is the taste. So when you do a dry pull and you can taste that and you're like, oh, wow, I haven't even lit this and I can taste it. That is flavonoids. And when you light it and you taste it, it's flavonoids. When you're smelling it with your nose, that's the essential oils of the terpenes. So to understand how all that works, and when you're able to trap it like we did with that fresh frozen, again, you don't get a big return. Like I asked people online, would you blast 1.5 ounces of your own prime, beautiful bud, freshly cut, and just go and blast it? Like, would you do that? Without knowing, you're going blindly into it. You don't know what the outcome is. It's just R&D. So it's only 1.5 ounces to some, but 1.5 ounces can be a lot to others. So you know, but 1.5 ounces, you know, yielded us back about 1/4 ounce of oil in the end. So, you know, after we look at all we scraped and all we pulled out of there, we did okay with that. So, you know, there's a lot to be said with the returns. The problem is, Vicky and I would go through this in one day, in a general day of work. We're constantly dabbing. Yeah, no, Jason, if you the best thing you can do is honestly, safely, just get one of the closed loop systems. Check out Across International. They work with Canada now, and a few friends of mine. But Across International, now they've got the really small ones, so you can do like 1 or 2 ounces in your house. It's more for patience. Like, I'm not here for profit. I'm here teaching you guys this because this is the shit they don't want you to know. No extractors are coming on and telling you how to make diamonds. Why? Because they want you to buy theirs. I'm coming on because I just want you to know this is what I've learned and share the information that I've learned. And if it can help you make better stuff out of your medicine, so be it. You know, to each their own. Soil to oil, farm to flame, it's all the same, motherfuckers. And we need to recognize that. Damn, this is like one ass hurting show. I'm gonna have to like kill this. How are we doing on YouTube? Maybe my YouTube friends are a little bit more awake today. Good thing about YouTube is it goes all around the world. Savoy out of Toronto, what's up? How are we doing here? Please remember to like and share the show, guys, if possible, or leave a comment, leave something to indicate that we're there. I'm trying to figure out a few different things still. With coming back to YouTube, it's changed so much. When I say coming back, I spent 4 years fighting the government in court, so I wasn't really learning the tweaks and the gadgets and the widgets and the gidgets that come with YouTube. like they have now, like this Tube Buddy and all this other stuff. But once I figure it all out, I'll be able to catch up now that I've got more time to just be me. Not have to worry about all the other stuff that comes along with it. Now, there's a dispensary fight coming up. I've told you guys about this. You've read about it now in the Lift article. And that's important. I'm hoping my audio is still working okay. But the Lift article, yeah, it's still working. Shit, what was I just going to talk about there? God damn it. Can somebody post what I was just talking about? Thanks, Bonnie. Yeah, please, Bonnie, don't, whatever you do, anybody watching, don't spam other groups. Please, if you're going to share it, only share it to groups that you belong to and that you actively attend. And we're not again, it's just being respectful, because I run a group of 15,000 people. I'm a group host. And when you have 15,000 people in there, you want to make sure that your administrators and your moderators are up to par to get everything done as best as possible. Let's put it that way. Sorry, I'm just moving my mic around again so I can actually put my damn logo on here. There's my logo. Okay, so I ain't seen lit. Oh yeah, sorry. Really good weed for a sing in the morning. Nothing better. All right. So what are you guys smoking on? See, now I'm able to. Oh, Lift article. Thank you, Jason. Shit. But what was it in the Lift article? It was important. Shit. What was it? Oh, something about the Lift article too. Oh, I was making some point and I totally forgot it. Even my first couple of puffs off this is just like, wow. It's just the taste and the flavonoids. No, this is just my own weed. I just rolled up. Now in here, this is straight fresh frozen extract. Diamonds, whatever you want to call them. I know people have posted, well, diamonds are just THCVA. Are they? Just saying. There's a chemical reaction that happens. Well, first off, there's over 100 phytocannabinoids in this jar. So we don't know what any of the synergies are. We don't know what they do at this point. And most importantly, yeah, the main thing is to understand that there's over 100 different cannabinoids in the one jar. And then all the terpenes as well that were frozen and trapped and then extracted and blasted into it. Jason, no, but the best thing I can suggest would honestly, I don't know where, I should know by now. I can't remember where you live, Jason. Honestly, there's a few good glass blowers we can put you in touch with. There's a few good blowers that are glass blowers that we could put you in touch with, no problem. And Queese Hamilton, you got Redbeard glass, you got Gibson glass, you've got Redbeard. I mean, you could just go on. You right down to even Beard Brothers glass. I mean, they stopped a while back. Brad stopped a while back, but recipe for making capsules. Sign up to Cannabis in Canada Inc.com, and you'll learn how these recipes that we're again R&D. People are offering us a lot of money for our R&D into our capsules and into different things. We turn around and we sell that R&D to companies, because those companies are the ones that have the right to sell the oils. and the other stuff that they're restricted upon. I don't like the restrictions. I don't see how. Well, I guess it's better in Australia. If you want to get a vial of CBD, every product vial, whether it comes this way, whether it comes in a tincture bottle, no matter how you get it, you can only have 5 nanograms of CBD per unit. In Canada, they're only going to allow 30 milligrams of CBD per unit. My tincture bottles are 1,000 milligrams per unit. So I hope Canada can see where I'm going with this and what I'm trying to say. I gotta stop talking so I can actually smoke that. I shouldn't have went out like that. Oh fuck. The other problem with fresh growing organic, I don't know, I get it with the organics. The main thing is that big resin line that goes down. So by the time I get to the end of this, I'm gonna have oil getting all over my fingers, the sticky icky. Yeah, no, if you're signed up, when we actually launch and we get everything going, like when I say launched, I mean like a website. The website's up and going, but I mean when we get fully operational again with bloggers and with proper video and with gear that's there in our store. There's a lot of different things that we want to have built out onto it. We haven't had a chance to do it yet. Alright, I'm not going to keep fighting with that thing. I'll flip it over to this one. Oh man, I haven't smoked paper in a while. It's definitely been a while. But okay, what else was I looking for here? I was looking for an article. No, we were just talking about Leafly. Sorry, just bear with me, guys. I'm gonna pull this up into my so you can see what I'm working on here. I'm just looking for an article. I'm gonna pull this up into my so you can see what I'm working on here. I'm just looking for an article. Yeah, this is pull this up into my yeah. I'm working on here. I'm just looking for an article. Yeah, this is pull this up into my no, I can't find the article that I was actually looking for. No, I can't find. No, I'm not going to waste too much time on that one. Looking for. I'll take that off the screen. Oven temperature and how long to bake for what, Bonnie? When it comes to cannabis, yeah, you want to be very careful, depending on which molecules you're dealing with. Different phytocannabinoids will burn off at different temperatures. CBD being one of the lowest temperatures, it will burn off very, very low. So you have to be alert to that kind of stuff. Failure to be alert to it could result in bad stuff. So yeah, I'll say that. Yeah, back to again, Jason Steele. If you ever come out to BC, I could take you around to literally the Glassblower Studios, or introduce you. The best thing is to come to one of our cannabis events because the Glassblowers are always there. Our cultures, they're part of the cannabis culture, and they're always there. And their glass is often highly reduced at these events. So it would only make sense to continue with that one, or to review that. Yeah, I think Vicky and I are actually catching another cold. I can't believe it. So people looking to do your own capsules. Oh, the bud to make your own capsules. I can show you. I've got a mason jar over here. Vicky's just stepped out for a minute to grab some her morning tea and stuff. But I got a big, huge mason jar over there. It's half full, and that's just my tincture. And rather than put it in tincture bottles, or rather than cap it all up, I just keep it there, and I make like 4 caps at night, and it puts me to sleep. And I wake up the next day, have a good bowel movement, and happy to move on with my day. Making your oil, that's another thing, because that comes down to tolerance and resistance. So if you're new to cannabis and you're new to cooking with cannabis, then you're going to need a lot less. An ounce can go a long way for you. Now for myself, I have to use almost a 1/4 pound in my infusions in order to get the dosage I need to knock me out, because my tolerance and my resistance is so high, because I'm smoking and well, not really smoking, but dabbing cannabis and eating cannabinoids all day long. You know, I've lost 2 fathers to cancer, and my mom's lost 1 breast to cancer. So I certainly don't want to, if there is any truth to what I've been saying, that the World Health Organization is going to announce soon that they have found the cure for cancer, and it's in cannabis. Not all cancers, but for certain types of cancer, they found the cure, the lock and key. And it may not even be in THC. It may not even be in CBD. It might be in the other, like I said, 100 plus phytocannabinoids that have yet to be fully explored, not only independently, like CBD and THC, but also synergistically. It has not been done. We have so much to learn. They have so much to gain. And Canada has so much to lose. If we don't push back on this medical issue. Because I tell you now, there's no such thing as a non-medical patient. That's the biggest part. Non-medical users, there's no such thing. The way cannabis goes through the body, no doctor, botanist, or judge would disagree that it's a preventative medicine at the very least. That it's like a multivitamin. You can take it and you can say, well, I'm not taking it because I want to get healthy, but I'm just taking it. It's still a multivitamin that's going to make you healthy. Just like your endogenous system that you may not know you have. Unless you're from another planet, you know, then you have CB1 and CB2 receptor cells all through your body. And it's just the way cannabinoids work with the body, and it's important. I touch on this every show because the more and more we do this, the more and more I see. Okay, here's an example. Anybody who's read the Cannabis Act can see medical patients are not mentioned. How to dispense cannabis, how to educate about cannabis, how to do anything about cannabis, other than pointing them to Health Canada on how to grow cannabis. But there's no regulations on how to dispense it compassionately, how to educate patients about how to use it cautiously. I mean, we're dealing with some really sometimes, you know, cancer patients, people dying, older men and women with Parkinson's and other bad diseases, people with MS. They shouldn't be pushed through the CCBO line like the liquor store to get their medicine. Nor should they have to go to Shoppers, because a pharmacist is not qualified to really speak to what's in pharmacopoeia. So what's needed is compassion clubs, like we had originally. And I believe that that's what Mr. John W. Conroy QC and Jack Lloyd will be going after in the upcoming trial. I'm not sure fully what my part is going to play in this, and John will always be my hero. So if I can help John and if I can help raise money to better a cause, I will do that. I believe in the medicinal properties of this plant so much that I'm willing to put that time in, just not so much for free anymore. I think that if these licensed producers, and some of them watch my show, and some of them have made comments to me and reached out to me, and that's good. But you know, you guys got to stop and think. Who is your conduit to the community? Who is the people that are going to actually help you bridge the gap between the cannabis culture, the people you want buying your stuff, and yourself, your brand, your product, your company, your corporation, your future? Before big dog eats little dog, there's 100 of y'all in here in Canada. They only wanted to have 56. I used to call them the fancy 50. So they only wanted 56. So I think we're 50 over. That's only because they need supply. None of y'all can seem to even come up with that without buying it from us first and then getting caught backdooring it in. Good job, guys. It's only been going on for the past 3 years, but you caught one LP doing it out of 100. Good job. Sorry, plus the 1 ton that they seized at the Kamloops Airport here in BC that was headed for Canopy Growth Corp, and they just abandoned the shipment and said, it's not ours, it's not our fault. Yeah. Whatever. It is what it is. You know, there's not much we can really do about certain things. Let me just see here. And the other thing I wanted to talk about was the weight. I wanted people to know this because this is something that, again, anybody that's dealt with CBD knows it's a heavy, heavy molecule. It's a heavy molecule. So when you look at a quarter pound, you think you're looking at 2 ounces. So it's really, really a heavy, heavy molecule. So you need to understand this if you're going to start making your own CBD products. One, it's a heavy molecule, it's a durable molecule, and it's an oil-based molecule. And that's all the information I'll give because of all the R&D I've done over the past year. Just recently, Vicky and I discovered another thing that we didn't even know. But because we learned it, now we're making a more superior product for ourselves because we learned this little tweak. So there are things that I can give out, but then there's things that I can't because the people who gave it to me, my only condition was to not share it on my show or to share it out to other people. Unless it's like some old lady making her medicine at her house or someone with cancer, a serious case, a one-on-one basis, but not publicly like this. I'm not going to share insider trader secrets. Some. You know, people are wondering maybe why I would blast cut up frozen buds, right? Have them run through a system, take the syrup, throw the syrup in a mason jar like this, and then just let it sit and do its thing. A lot of people probably wonder why I did that. And it was really an experiment. The earlier experiment was a success as well. Yeah, there's cured bud, there's a texture and consistency you're going to get with that. Then there's fresh frozen, where you get the full spectrum. You get another different in texture and consistency. And of course, all of this can be manipulated with temperature. Everything from using your germination mat and putting it on there to putting in a vac oven or a purge oven. People think you need all this fancy equipment to do it. You take this, you stick it in your cupboard, and you wait 30 days and go back and get it. If you have the control to do that, then you'll have what you're looking for, provided you followed all the steps and you've done what's right. You should have this sort of look going on in your jar. Not much more I can say to that, other than you guys know what I'm talking about. We keep it real in the 604. If this fails, I'll tell you it failed. You know, its consistency already is a little bit different because this particular jar that I have on here today is from cured bud. So cured bud at 62%. So a 62% humidity in the jar at any given time, just like a cigarette pack when you buy it at the store. Same sort of thing. So this was blasted from cured bud, now that I remember. I thought this was the fresh frozen jar, but I forgot that we've already kind of... yeah, that's why I said the first experiment went well. But this is the second one. So this is actually cured bud. So that's what's interesting. It might be why it's starting to butter up here. You can see on the sides. And I haven't put anything in there to really cause it to butter. I know that if I just give it a little flick of a whip, it will flip color. It will turn to a cream. I can turn this stuff into a cream right now, and it would then be effectively what we all refer to as live resin, that looks like this. Only some guys will make the mistake and use the wrong temperature, and they'll get crumble instead of diamonds. It's all a matter of knowing when to pull from the purge. You know, when you're purging your butane, you gotta know when to pull from the purge, when to jar it, how to jar it. And I'm not saying I know. I'm still learning. I'm still experimenting. All I know is we made diamonds last time, and it was a bunch of little sandy diamonds. It wasn't nothing fancy, but it was that whole conversion, watching it go through these changes, that I know that if I just left it a little bit longer, we'd be styling. You know, it would be rocking. No, we're going to continue doing shows on how to make different things. This is where audience feedback is important. You know, viewer feedback is important. I think I have over 600 videos on YouTube. Back in the day, we used to teach people everything except open blasting on my channel. That's the only one thing that I banned from my channel, was open blasting. Just because I didn't want to be accountable for some mother saying her son blew himself up in the back shed because he watched my video. You know, I would never teach people to open blast indoors to begin with. But now that we've got closed loop systems, there's really no reason to open blast. But if you live in the country and you want to go out in the field and you don't got a cigarette in your mouth or a joint in your mouth, feel free to open blast. You know, I mean, you're really not going to do much. You're just going to put gas into the air. That's my thoughts on it. Again, from a safety perspective, open blasting isn't dangerous other than the gases being trapped indoors. So open blasting in a closed environment is dangerous. Open blasting in a field is not dangerous at all, unless you have an open flame around your bowl, and even then it's not going to explode. It's just going to light on fire. You put a hot cloth over it and you're going to put it out. It's not a thing to panic about. It's like having an oil fire on the stove. You can either panic and dump it over and make a big fire, or you can just put a wet cloth over it and put the fire out. Thanks, Jason Steele. Yes, guys, if there's anything that you want to learn, because I'm now expanding. When I left off in Allard, I was doing tissue cultures, and so now I've gotten back into testing seed companies. I'm also going to be doing the tissue culture kit that Green Planet carries, and I'm going to start doing my own tissue cultures. Tilray has a whole big compartment bank. See, they don't keep seeds. They keep tissue cultures. There's a reason, because there's absolutely no disease. It's a brand new cell, and that one cell then produces more cells, and it'll grow into a plant. Most importantly is when you take the cutting for the tissue culture, you're taking the very top leaf, the newest growth. And because disease takes longer than the plant does to actually grow, the plant's growing faster than the disease can catch up with it. If you get that clean cell, you've now got your mother that's 3 years old and lost all its vigor. That mother you're ready to kill and throw out, you could actually revive it back to a tissue culture, back to a clone, and then raise it up and take brand new babies as if it was an F1 right off the hop again. That's tissue culturing 101. That's what I left off doing, and I was excited about that. But then over the 4 years of the coalition, we went from guys that were open blasting with PVC pipes in the backyard to closed loop systems, and you know, and vac ovens and purge ovens, and you know, or purgers, whatever they're called, and all these different machines, you know, rotovapes and all these different things that we can do to make Phoenix tiers, to make all these different things. This matters. This is all about where we're at, and that's why me moving forward, I can sit there and keep making videos on how to do what I've already taught people to do on my channel. I get about 45,000 people a week coming to my channel, so that's because of the number of videos. They're learning about something. They're watching a lot of my old videos, because even though they're old, the information doesn't change. You know, how to grow a cannabis plant is how to grow a cannabis plant. How to train it, how to feed it, how to flush it. You know, what does reverse osmosis water do to nutrients? All that stuff's there. You name it, it's there. Almost every topic I could think of, I covered. I did my best, except for this stuff. And we didn't have live shows where I could interact like this. I'm able to right now sit here and interact with the audience both on YouTube and on Facebook, and be able to get feedback. Now, if you guys say you want to see a certain kind of show, an outdoor show, you guys want to see whatever. If you guys want to see a certain kind of plant done, you want to see a bonsai done, these are the kind of things where it's more topic driven, and it's what I have to do for my calendar. To be honest, I have to take this calendar and make it every Sunday at say 5 o'clock, you know, so we get both coasts. You know, how am I going? I got to then lock in topics. So like, okay, each week's going to be a topic. Most importantly is I want to continue with the extraction topics, because terp sauce and some of that stuff is new, and a lot of people don't know. And though the government has said you can't use BHO, I'm telling you, as a medical patient, yes, you can. It's a regulatory breach. It's not a legal breach. It's not a CDSA law to use butane. In fact, there's FDA regulations to use food or butane with food. There's actually a parts per million that's allowable, for people to use. So sauce is really where people are going now, because making these, it's not only about the potency, it's really just about, it's the latest craze. It's the latest thing to come out. It was in High Times 2 months ago. They had it in their edition there. That's when we realized, okay, diamonds aren't going anywhere. This is the new thing. And the problem is, it's such a low return. So people are still wondering why aren't we seeing more of this? Well, there's a cost to it. And then there's the people that are making, again, you can make terp sauce out of almost anything. You don't have to have the best material. You'll have the best terp sauce if you start with the best material. But if you don't, then you won't get this look, and you won't get that nice golden color, and you certainly won't get, it won't develop into diamonds for you. And that's a whole different thing. And I'm still learning about the air to product ratio, basically. And it's not live rosin. Live rosin is different. Live rosin is just pressing it and squeezing it out. Live resin is a form of it, but it has BHO in there. And I've been told, now again, I'm not going to dispute anything until I test it myself, that you can make diamonds from rosin. I don't know if anybody in the chats, either of the chats, anybody want to tell me if they've made rosin with or diamonds with rosin, like pressed your rosin, and then maybe you would have to almost do the same thing. I don't see why there would be a distant difference from the blasting versus rosin, because in both cases, just hear me out, in one case you're using butane, so you're freezing it, you know, you're freezing all your phytocannabinoids. In the other case, you're pressing it with heat and you're forcing it out. But either way, at the end of the day, it's got to go in a jar like this, and it's got to do its thing. It's got to be an airtight jar, I know that. But I would be interested to know if anybody's made rosin diamonds. I mean, pressed rosin turned into diamonds using this methodology, putting it in a mason jar. I'm interested to know. Inquiring minds want to know. I know everybody's saying it's THCVA diamonds. Now here's the reason I'm gonna touch on this. As soon as these diamonds are done, they're gonna be tested. And the reason they're going to be, first off, there's hydrocarbons you can buy that will wash off your diamonds without melting them away, because that's how they were forged. That's how they were made. So to wash your sauce off when your diamonds are done, you wash it off. I'm not going to give all the information, but the hydrocarbons that you're using to wash it off allows your diamonds to stay stable. Then we can test the purity of that said diamond. Now, does it have all 100 phytocannabinoids in there? Or is it truly just purified THCVA? Inquiring minds want to know. I'm watching the chats. I'm checking to see, is there any, has there been any tests? Is there anything on there? We got a half hour to go here, guys. Saturday morning show here on Cannabis Canada. You're going to see a lot more of my ugly mug. So don't worry, you'll hear a lot, you'll see a lot, and you'll hear me keep talking a lot. Thank you, Gavin. I've seen rosin diamonds. Okay, so it is possible, because again, me from a scientific standpoint, from a research standpoint, it would only make sense because it doesn't matter. Live resin and rosin are very much the same. Like I said, it's just the processing that's done differently. People would argue the residuals of BHO in here are going to be a lot worse for you than diamonds. I'm going to say that's out until we know more about FDA standards, parts per million, etc. I think that that's an important part. I seen some rosin that was white. I seen some keef that was turned completely white. And I don't mean like there's the regular golden. You get the nice golden that you can do. But when you can turn it to white and blonde, I mean, just taking the heads. Again, I've seen some really neat stuff being done. And that's what this is all about. You know, I mean, even when you're willing to take your best buds, literally your best cannabis buds, and blasting them through for the purpose of, again, an ounce and a half for me could have lasted me a long time fishing on the river. But to test it is more exciting, and to share it with you guys is more exciting. Rosin diamonds, Savio, I would assume, and I would point to the YouTube chat because you guys are talking the most about it in there. Again, if we're talking diamonds, we're talking, again, rosin would be the same diamonds as this. Now, our understanding of diamonds is that they are THCVA. It's a conversion. A lot of people don't realize that when you decarb your cannabis, you're just blowing off the atom off the THC and you're converting it to CBN. That's all you're doing. That's why you get more of a narcotic-y, sleepy effect. So there's a lot to be said about chemistry, and I sucked at chemistry. I should have paid more attention. I was too busy freaking smoking weed in the back. Anyway. It's times like this where I really wish I did pay attention in chemistry. But... oh. Terpenes are a solvent. Well, that's interesting, Gavin, because same thing. We trap those, and this is what I've now done. Like this is I'll only speak to what I've done. Is when I did my first round, and it was a bigger jar. We did a full 2 plants of fresh frozen. So the plants were cut live, trimmed as best we could, just quick manicure, buds cut up as best we could, then loaded again into the freezer in a way that we could still load it into the pipe without spilling the trichomes. It's very tricky. I'd have to do a video on it to really show the methodology and just not losing trichomes. But again, fresh frozen, you can do it that way, or you can just go get a block of dry ice and just throw your plant on dry ice and do it a lot faster than waiting 12 hours for it to freeze in the freezer. Either way, when your product's frozen, then you can run it because you've now trapped your terpenes. So if you've grown your plant properly, and if it's organic especially, you're going to have pungent terpenes. And if you can trap those, then that's why every time you see somebody open up a terp sauce and they say, hey, what's that smell? That smell's there. And that's the smell that each individual genotype or strain, if you have it, will produce. They all have their own terpene profiles. So, and keeping in mind, once again, terpenes are essential oils that reside outside the trichome. Every other phytocannabinoid, or all phytocannabinoids, reside inside the trichome. Just something to also point out. Yeah, as we're going, damn, I've been rambling on here. I'm gonna put on top shelf shatter. We've been talking about shatter. I showed lift. Yeah, and I'm gonna see if this coalition want to work, but if not, I'll see you guys in about 5 minutes. Just give me a chance here to catch my breath. If you got any questions, please share this around. Share this around. Remember to help me keep this going, because I'm gonna try and keep this morning show. Again, I'm trying to decide: do we want a morning show? Do we need a morning show? Do we need that kind of contact or content? Lab testing costs can be anywhere from $500 to $1,000. Just depends on the lab that you're using. But as a medical patient with a license, you can definitely have your product tested. And then there's other products like MyDX and other products that I've personally tested. And to each their own with that. I'm not going to brand bash here. So guys, enjoy the break. Ladies, enjoy the break. And when we come back, we will have approximately 15 minutes to finish up the show. So if there's anything there that you want to talk about, I'm interested in the rosin diamonds. I didn't know that. I would love to see a picture. Somebody wants to post a picture up in the chat if it's possible. A picture of the of rosin diamonds. That would be kind of cool. And also how it's done. Is it put in a jar? Like, do you press your rosin, and then when you get your nice golden goo, if you have it, do you then let it get scraped off into a jar and air seal it to allow that chemical transformation to take place for the diamonds to form? You know, it does take a certain amount of time. It does take an airtight container. I know that, but I am curious about the rosin diamonds. So anyway, I'll leave it at that. What else we got here? We got the Coalition one, and then I've got maybe a Beard Brothers video I might throw on. And yeah, I'm trying to just get 5 minutes here. So yeah, I'll just see if this Coalition one works. If it does, we'll just let this run through. And again, there's a documentary being worked on right now. It's been being worked on for over a year. It's not easy doing a documentary with people from across the country, with multiple lawyers and plaintiffs and you know, leaders in the Cannabis Rights Coalition, down to the members and administration. So we have a whole whack of work going on at one time. So yeah, I'm gonna play this now. This was filmed right while the coalition was still going on. We were still fundraising, we were still doing different things, and we were showing people here's a timeline of what happened during the trial. So on my tattoo on my arm, it says 2012 to 2016. That's the time it took, 4 years of my life, to save that ability to grow, that regulatory right to grow cannabis. On that note, we'll see you in about 5 minutes, guys. Love you all, and hopefully this works.
The Canadian government's getting out of the marijuana business. Canada's health minister announced changes to medicinal marijuana access. They're aimed at reducing crime, but many people think it will do the exact opposite.
He's one of 26,000 Canadians with a license to grow medical marijuana, starting to feel anxious again since the Canadian government announced the system's about to change. Soon there will be no more medical marijuana produced and distributed by the government, and no more growing regulated marijuana from home.
Jason Wilcox has been organizing the coalition against the repeal of the medical marijuana access regulations, particularly the personal production licenses and designated production licenses.
I believe in patient options. You should be able to go and have somebody grow it for you if they have the place in the room and the ability, or order it from a pharmacy or a big business, whatever you want to call it, however the program is modeled. And then you should also have the right fundamentally, especially if it's to put in your own body, just like when you smoke it, you should have the right to grow it.
Health Canada will, if successful, only license large-scale commercial operators who produce our medicine at up to 4 times the current cost.
Government is simply hijacking and cornering the market, my friends. The issue is getting up to 26,222 legal growers, trying to get as many of them as possible to understand and unite and get on this file so that we can actually be prepared. So when Health Canada chooses to make their move, we're all prepared to take it on, take it on.
A federal judge has approved an injunction allowing current licensed medical marijuana users to continue growing their own pot past April 1st.
A court in British Columbia ruled users can continue growing their own pot for now. This decision comes less than 2 weeks before new laws for medical pot take effect in Canada.
This is huge news, you know, and then so many patients right now, they're not suffering tonight. Tonight they're going to get to sleep. It's very hard for me not to get angry and frustrated as I think about the 500 plus impact statements I've read of people paranoid, and not just paranoid, God-given fear of going back onto pharmaceuticals because of what the government's doing now to medical patients. It's unconstitutional, it's not Canadian, it's unethical, and it's not right.
My doctor, he wouldn't take my MRIs, he wouldn't send my MMR forms. And through other things, like I was really having a tough time, but it seems that one major stressor, removing that threat of losing my garden by the government, even having the threat of armed guards coming into my home to make sure that it's shut down, really hurt me and hindered my healing. And that was the beginning.
I'm aware of people who don't have a medicinal license, who buy their marijuana from medicinal growers.
I would use the analogy though too, that we look at how many drunk drivers and people on pills right now are going out driving drunk and killing people. We police the drunk drivers, we don't throw all the cars off the road. And that's what they were trying to do with the patients, and I'm glad that justice stepped in and interfered and allowed the Constitution to have a chance to put the MMPR under constitutional scrutiny.
Right.
I just really hope that we all get what I think we deserve, which is freedom. And that's what this is all about.
The coalition of what's going on, these are people that are willing to stand up to the government with their endless amounts of money in pockets and, you know, do what we can, hit the streets, hit the roads, canvass, talk to people, you know, just go out there and promote to one person at a time, change perception and views by, you know what I mean, articulating truth. And, you know, I'm proud to be a part of that movement.
Now we're at $180,000 raised. What are we looking at over and above the $250,000 that we originally set out?
I'd have to estimate high. I'd have to say, look, let's shoot for $1 million because who knows? You've seen the attitude of the federal government. They recently are putting ads on paid for by the taxpayers about the dangers of cannabis. It's just another herb.
There's going to be a lot going on in the next year. It's our one big historical chance. Either we make it happen or we don't.
It doesn't matter who you are or what you are. If you have a belief in ensuring that people's rights should be taken care of, you should be donating.
It's for the people. It's we the people who want this, and you know, it's coming.
People needed access to these products because it helped prolong and help, you know, save a lot of suffering.
This is going to end. We're past the point of whether we will or will not win our gardens. We will. So yeah, you licensed producers, you better be worried. I'm not going anywhere. This is far from over.
I'm pretty confident that you're going to win. I mean, you can't guarantee it, but I feel like that's going to be a preserved thing, the right to grow your own cannabis for medical purposes, as it should be.
I think that we got a super strong case. I'm really looking forward to what John can do in the court, and I hope it's heard fairly and with an open mind.
I hope we legalize, but again, I hope we legalize with gardens so that there isn't this fight that I worry about between the underground, these growers that exist, and I know them. You know, the BC economy is almost run by these growers. You know, if that starts a gas war, then security is going to go up because the gangs get involved or real organized crime gets involved. I say, why doesn't the top down first recognize it as medicine, take it out of the CDSA, classify it as a safe and harmless herb it is, and put it into herbology, or put it back into pharmacopoeia and let the doctors prescribe it the way it should be, and look after the damn patients. At the end of the day, it's about the patients.
Check, 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 check. No sound, that's what I thought. Okay, one sec. Check, 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 check. Check, check, check. I don't know if you guys can hear me now or not. It's because my software is screwing up with me again. You pay $800 for broadcast software just to have it screw around with you. Thumbs up, I'm assuming sounds good. Okay, I can hear myself. Good. We're back. Okay. There it is. 146. Like I said, we had about 15 minutes. That's what I expected would be left after getting those two in. So there's a big history from 2012 to 2016, securing the constitutional right to grow our cannabis. And now we've went on. There's also a Branch McMaster lawsuit that I filed on behalf of 41,300 and something patients, and that's about to be settled, and that'll be another major victory for us. It is a federal constitutional privacy lawsuit that we filed with the appropriate attorneys. The reason John Conroy and those guys weren't our attorneys is because they simply don't do privacy law. They're criminal attorneys. So, but as far as thanks, Justin. As far as it goes with as far as it goes with everything else, yeah, fuck, I'm jumping all over the place here. And it's damn cold out, man. Even for Vancouver, it's cold. What else did I want to freaking close out on? I was looking for any closing comments. I know we got the sound by the good. It's just strange that my audio is working the way that it is. It shouldn't be acting out like this, but there's not much I can really do about it. It is what it is. I'm running when you're running multiple screens and multiple systems. There's not much you can do really. For our administrators, we got a lot of people wanting to join the Cannabis Canada group. They're likely people that tune into our show and realize that there is a group also for Cannabis Canada. Because we're a private group, nobody ever knows about us unless we share it ourselves as group members. You don't share out that there's a group that exists. Other than that, people can't find us through just searching. So, but anyway, what was the other thing here? Bonafide. Now this is Bonafide. I'm just looking. Yeah, this is the one. Okay, make sure I got the right one. Close this and send this over here. One sec here, guys. This is the Bonafide article. So, origin of Bonafide's unlicensed pot still unknown, but companies working ways to track cannabis. So the companies are working on ways to track cannabis. Didn't they already have this all figured out? Pot still unknown, but companies working already have it figured out. Now this is what companies are working on ways to track cannabis. Moreover, right here, all figured out. Pot still unknown, but companies. So nobody was charged. Now this is under the CDSA. Now if anyone else pot still had possession of 200 kilograms of illegal cannabis, somebody would be charged under Controlled Drugs and Substances Act of Canada, and somebody would be going to jail. That's not happening right now. It didn't happen when they seized the 1 kilo, or sorry, the 1 ton of weed that they were getting from out here in BC. That's not happening back east to sell to unsuspecting people in Ontario and Nova Scotia and so forth. That was a ton of weed. In this case, admittedly, the company's busted, bringing in 200 kilos in the back door, busted. In this case, it's in Winnipeg, right at their cannabis production facility, bringing in 200 kilos, 100% illegal. Nothing justifies it. In this case, however, with no justification. Doesn't matter. Not justified. Bona fide still, they had their license pulled. But this is where I go back to, there's no gangsters and organized crime and all this. If there is, it's the federal government. When we see licensed producers be allowed to backdoor 200 kilograms and nobody took a charge. I don't give a shit if some chief executives lost their jobs. I think about what would be done to people, my friends. What would be done to us if we got caught with 200 kilos trying to ship it in for sales? Untested, unregulated cannabis that's supposed to be so dangerous that it has to be tested and regulated. Bullshit. You know, nobody ain't never died from the cannabis plant. It's like any other fruit or vegetable. You know, if it's got mold on it and you want to eat it, well, that's your choice, you know, and your risk. The average person wouldn't. But it is what it is. Hopefully the sound's coming through good. But the bona fide one got me going only because I remember going after Tweed. Mr. Conroy hasn't forgot about that one either. Trust me, the attorneys have not forgotten about this seizure. I'm not sure if it was Canopy Growth or if it was Tweed. I'm not sure who it was, but one of them, along with Metrum, it was all their product, all in one plane that they seized. And the RCMP seized it. They said it contravened the CDSA. They said that it warranted charges, but nobody got charged because Tweed just abandoned the shipment, and all the growers, I guess, that they had receipts for, well, Tweed didn't turn that over to the police, so nobody got charged. So now we got 200 kilos going in the back door of this, and nobody's charged. And then we just have to stop and say, well, who's running these boards of directors? Like, who's actually taking care of these companies' best interests and investors' best interests? Well, it's the police. Most of the board of directors, and have police officers on them or influencing them in some capacity. It is what it is. And this is why too. Not only was this backdoored and illegal to begin with, I'll send this one over here as well, and you guys will be able to see. And this is why CTV News in Barrie, Ontario, was reporting the management shakeup by Manitoba-based pot producer as well. Sorry, I thought it was. And you guys will be able to see. And this is why CTV News in Barrie, management shakeup Manitoba-based pot producer after recalls. So when we get down to this, a Winnipeg-based cannabis company has cleaned house after some senior managers were linked to an unauthorized weed that was shipped to some source. So when we get to they fired a Winnipeg senior manager has cleaned house after an investigation were linked commissioned by Bonafide found that some managers bullied staff. They spoke up when they thought cannabis regulations were not being followed. The investigation Raven Quest Technologies CEO George Robertson, who knows the operations of Bonafide, conducted the investigation. He says senior Bonafide executives have been dismissed and board members have been suspended. But the pot producer will keep its Health Canada license. He says senior Health Canada issues a recall earlier this month for 2 strains of Bonafide cannabis that were being sold at 3 stores in Saskatchewan, Manitoba. Regulators then seized all Bonafide cannabis that was shipped to the licensed sales stores. An investigation found Bonafide had 200 kilograms of cannabis that was not authorized for sale. Nobody charged. All Bonafide cannabis. Anyway, Robson says the company likely promised to provide more pot than it can produce. So it took the back door. No, the poor company couldn't provide. The poor company says the company likely promised to provide more pot, and honestly, the poor company, they couldn't provide. Their business plan didn't get them prepared for legalization. Retards. That's not our problem. But it doesn't justify backdooring 200 kilos of dope. Because if it's us, we face a mandatory. I think now it's 5 to 10 years. You're talking a nickel plus, and yet none of y'all motherfuckers been charged. Nobody's called for a public inquest. Nobody's called for public oversight. Nobody's asked the RCMP for a public statement for why nobody's been charged. Where'd the 200 pounds or 200 kilos come from? Where'd they get the weed? But some board members got suspended, which means they get to come back and make money later. And then other people got fired, but they were just managers. I feel sorry for them because they're the scapegoats that just got pawned out when it should have been the board members. And there should be fucking charges on all of us. I'm going to find the article. They ultimately got their license pulled anyway, so I can sit here and bitch and complain about, you know, what I didn't like with that situation, but they ultimately did have their license pulled. Here, I'll pull this one up and I'll send this one over for you guys. Definitely not shopping. Okay. So once again, reliable media source, CBC, I believe that's their logo. Health Canada suspends license of Winnipeg cannabis producer. Reliable media source. So what I'm doing is really just giving you guys a time lapse of bringing you up to speed. This was February 6, 2019. CBC News Canada. So the license was suspended. What does that mean? I don't know entirely. Health Canada has suspended the sales license of Winnipeg-based producer Bonafide. So the federal agency barred Bonafide medical cannabis from selling cannabis on Monday due to safety and public health license of the department found that Bonafide medicinal cannabis was processing, distributing, and selling product that was not purchased or that was purchased from an illegal source and selling the product that did not comply with good production practices as required under the Cannabis Act and cannabis regulations. Was purchased from an illegal spokesperson and selling the product that did not comply, said in a statement. The case has been forwarded to the RCMP and Canada Revenue Agency. Well, thank God. That's important. So at least the RCMP are going to look at this. Now, friends, stay tuned. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Let's see if anybody gets charged. The announcement comes after Health Canada issued a recall on 2 Bonafide strains in December over contamination concerns on products sold in Saskatchewan. The Liquor and Gaming and Cannabis Authority of Manitoba, which regulates the cannabis retail sector, and the Manitoba Liquor and Lotteries Commission, the wholesaler of cannabis in this province, followed suit and suspended the sale of Bonafide products. A third-party investigation found the company sold unauthorized product at retailers in Saskatoon, Regina, and Moose Jaw. The investigator alleged senior managers of threatened staff and looked away when 200 kilograms of unlicensed cannabis arrived at the Winnipeg facility. 3 Bonafide executives were subsequently dismissed. Again, no charges. One home and have a good night with your wife. Drink a few fucking at the Winnipeg facility. 3 Bonafide executives' jobs. At least you didn't get charged. One home. Anyway, Health Canada will continue to undertake unannounced inspections of cannabis holders to help ensure that they are in compliance with the law and regulations. So I would love to see Health Canada actually implement that. They've been saying that since 2001, but they've never investigated to help ensure trial. They've never investigated a single garden. Not one. Not one. Actually implement that. They've been saying that since 2001. Now that may have changed since Allard, but not a single one. Not a single garden. So here's what it is. Not a single garden was ever Check, 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 check. Hopefully that comes back on. Check, 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 check. Check, check. I don't know, let me know, guys, if it comes back on. I'm waiting to hear it come through my headphones, but oh, it logged me out of there too. I think I'm at my 2-hour mark here anyway. Ow! There, now it's blasting through my headphones. Okay. But Norman Longstaff sounds on. Yeah, no, it's I couldn't explain that one. That was a delayed sound coming back on, but it is what it is. Like I often say, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. And people were asking questions about different things. I would suggest, people that are looking into doing your own shows and wanting to make it a little easier, go do your homework on broadcast software and what broadcast software is available. And it's quite pricey, but once you buy it and you learn it, you can do a lot of stuff. Good morning, Matt. Well, you can do a lot of different stuff literally on the fly. Like right now, I can switch over to a video. I could run this for 4 hours if I want to. It gives you a lot of versatility in what you're able to do. Multiple layering. I don't have a camera plugged in right now to show you guys, but right now between the 4 computers, I'm trying to monitor all platforms at the same time, so I don't miss all the questions anyway. Steam Labs is free. Yeah, there's a few labs. This is another thing that's important, and I'll note this, guys, and it's very important. There's a few labs that are actually now still, these labs are actually testing for, if you can prove you have a medical license, they'll test for free for you, because you're testing your own cannabis because you want to know, one, its potency, but also you want to know if there's contaminants or anything that you're using in your nutrients that's not getting flushed out, or likewise just any contaminants, if that's something you're worried about, especially if you grow outdoor and you're not sure what's hitting your plants throughout the season. That's another time people that might want to start testing. And then again, I've talked about this earlier in the show, there's stuff like MyDX and different software applications that will allow you to do basic testing. But it is what it is. I'm going to put my Gorilla back off. Oh. So I'm going to pop this again. So I think I'm going to end up whipping this today. I'm not going to keep fucking with it. I know, Justin, you're going to tell me don't do it. And I probably shouldn't do it. Instead, I'm going to take a little dab of it. You see how nice and gooey and... yeah. But it's still not flipping completely to crystally yet. But it is what it is. I got to dab something nice. Crumbles okay, but there's nothing like that fresh frozen. I don't know. It is what it is. But we're closing out the show here. Cannabis authorization, a doctor, and apply for Health Canada. If you live in the Lower Mainland, you'll see me up, I believe, more up around Corunna in the near future. But it's important to understand that part anyway, because there's the dispensary war going on, and we're going to be continuing to dispense to our medical patients to make sure that they have reasonable access while the government figures out how to get their finger out of their ass and they can get back to writing clean policy versus unconstitutional policy that we have to keep overturning. That being said, we can get doctors here that will sign you for 5 grams. The MCRCI, I've already said to people, contact, and that's smoking a lot. People should contact the MCRCI. That's important. That's the Medical Cannabis Resource Center. The Medical Cannabis Information Resource Center. MCRCI. I don't know, something like that. But MCRCI, just Google that, you'll pull them up. Talk to Terry Roycroft, and he is the manager there. But it's for a 5 gram license, it's free. The doctor will sign for you, and then there's pricing schemes that go up if they have to process paperwork for higher licenses from other doctors, etc. You'll have to talk to them. But thanks, Justin McLeod, mcrci.com, and you can speak to them. Say, ask for Terry Roycroft and let them know that you heard about heard about him on our show here, and who knows what kind of discount you might get. Terry also served 2 years as a national steering committee member of the Cannabis Rights Coalition of Canada.
Start to plug up.
It's a nice little banger. Oh, wow. Ooh, wabba. Okay. Oh, I muted when the gorilla. Well, I took the gorilla off, so I need to go back to stereo. That's what happened. Mic check, mic check. Mic check, 1 2 1 2 1 2. As real as it gets, as real as it gets. Honestly, guys, as real as it gets. It's one of those things where you just gotta you gotta have fucking fun in life, man. I've been trying to find my way here for a little bit, and I've been meeting some cool people. I've been meeting some rich people, and that's been going on for years. When I say rich people, it's just because I'm a common man, but I'm not a rich man. But I see a lot of people out there that are approaching us now, and they see value in us previous. What was viewed as hippies or quasi outlaws or gray area industry workers, now we're being viewed as assets and potential potential work with different companies. So I found that to be very interesting. Rob Klein clinics, they get away with charging because they have rent to pay. And basically the MCRCI has a very big office, and the doctor, ironically, happens to be John Conroy's doctor, but here nor there. The doctor that works there, I mean, I've known the MC, they've been around since before legalization. They're going to be around after. And people can bitch and complain about paying a price, but then they bitch and they complain about not being able to get a doctor. So let's make up your mind. And the only price is really if you bring in another doctor's prescription. If you just go see the MCRCI, my understanding is 5 grams is free. Just like the Canna Clinics of Canada. There's a few different locations here in Vancouver that I work with specific doctors that will sign for only 5 grams for free for anybody. 1, to legally protect them, and 2, to make sure that they have reasonable access to enough cannabis to help them with their ailments, whatever that ailment may be. So, yeah, well, you're gonna see a lot. Debbie Lawrence, you've seen all this go down over the years, girl. You know as well as I do. They're gonna keep scooping us up one at a time, and some people will get left behind, and that's just the reality of how this will play out. But that's the reality that we face. Whoa, I went 11 minutes over when I was going to actually go. Damn it. I don't think they would do a 50-gram prescription. I don't even think they would attempt to process one. Health Canada, I know I have a 30-gram prescription, and I know Health Canada is fighting me tooth and nail, and there's not much they can really do about it, but it is what it is. I'm just saying, don't expect to walk in and get a 30-gram license because you say, "Oh, I have a sore back." It's not how it works. It's not. No doctor is just gonna take you from 0 to 30 grams. No doctor is going to take you from 0 to 20 grams. Doctors are going to start you what the average prescribing dose is, which, going by the Canadian Medical Association, is 1 to 3 grams. So if you're lucky to get 5 grams. Here in BC, I can get anybody 5 grams. That's the one thing I like to do and I like to talk about. Just because I have a 30-gram license doesn't mean that I can get other people 30-gram license. I also have a 25-year terminal illness. So there's a lot to be said in that. And a lot of years that I've had a federal license to begin with. You know, to each their own. People know what they need. They know what their needs are with respect to, you know, how much cannabis, you know, should they use or could they use. Yeah, I did a couple of marathon shows here. It's kind of interesting. Today's my day off. I think today's Saturday. Yes, it is. So today's actually my day off. So I'm gonna actually chill and watch some TV, maybe even play some friggin' PS4 and kind of clear my head. I didn't really plan on doing a super long show today, but it is what it is. No, this is true. We need, well, extracts, again, I believe, and this is, Phil Lucas is my mentor. He's the vice president at Tilray and the founder of the Vancouver Island Compassion Club, arguably the second oldest club in all of Canada. So, talking compassion clubs, don't kid yourselves. Tilray is collecting tiers, they're making distillate, they're selling distillate in other countries. They just can't sell it here because there's restrictions on dosing. That's the only reason. But don't kid yourself. They have labs. They have extract machines. And they make distillate. So, you know, it's to think that they're not, you know, to think that they're not going to get involved in the extract game is crazy. Just because the government says you can't do it with BHO. You know how many other substances there are for doing extracts? I mean, we've already seen some of them come to light to get around the cannabis policies that are in place for BHO, because BHO was a go-to. It was the one you could go down to the store and you could get your purified butane and you could pretty much, you know, do your thing. Now things have changed. No, Health Canada will say it's a College of Physicians, and if you've contact what the College of Physicians did issue last year, a formal statement that 1 to 3 grams was what they suggested, and they sent this letter to every doctor. All doctors in Canada got the same letter, and that 1 to 3 grams was based on the Israeli assessment brought out in the Allard trial, of all things. So I'm like, what the fuck were you listening to the Israelis for? This isn't Israel. This is Canada. And we've been legal here medically for a very long time, and some people have high tolerance, like myself. So it brings out a lot for people to really look at. You know, it's something to understand. Yes, 5 grams is 25 plants, 10 grams is 49 plants, 20 grams is 98 plants. I don't know how they do their math. I'm not sure how it's fully done, and then it keeps going up from there. But they cut a plant off every time you go up 5 grams. Somehow they cut a plant off. Either way, it is what it is. You're not going to see these super high scripts because Health Canada is a processing center. You might see a few scripts go through, but you know, these guys, if you want to get a 60-gram license or 80-gram license and then go put up that many plants and grow them all and try and harvest them all by yourself, well, I guess now you're allowed to use your friends, so I guess you could use your friends to harvest it all, but then, you know, you're gonna have to store it in a warehouse, and if you don't think you're gonna be under mass surveillance for what you're actually doing with all that cannabis, you're crazy. We're living in a new era. It's a new dawn. This isn't the drug war. This is called legalization. There's people with royalty rights to sell their cannabis. So anybody infringing on those rights needs to fucking listen to what I'm saying, because this is no game. There's a war going on internationally now Other countries are feeling the pressure of this war. And it's a war of attrition. There's corporations that want to control supply and distribution domestically and internationally. And then there's a bunch of people like myself and others that are simply mom and pop people that feel that cannabis should not be overregulated, should not be governed like a gun, and should be freed to the people in accordance with Allard and in accordance with R.V. Smith. Because until the Supreme Court of Canada says otherwise, we can have cannabis in all of its forms. So leave us the fuck alone. Sorry for the language. It is what it is. Man, I don't know where my wife went for breakfast. Holy Christ, she's been gone forever. I'm waiting for her to get back so I can get off the show and then friggin' figure out what I was going to do. But, oh well, I better jump off here. It's been a interesting show. Free and fair market is definitely what we aim for. I'm going to close it out here with the Beard Brothers and just let them play it out. But thanks for tuning in, guys and ladies, for an early morning unexpected show again. I just popped on. I was just on yesterday. The one good thing about popping on like this is seeing the communication in the chat. That's what matters to me. So Sasha, the religious cases, I'd be interested. I wouldn't use the word marijuana. I would change that to cannabis and stick with the religion, because it's been called cannabis since the beginning of time. But most importantly, that might be something. But for your religion, here in Canada, a group called there was a Holy Cross. I can't remember the name of the group, but they went all the way to the Supreme Court arguing religion, like the Rastafarians have in Jamaica, to smoke cannabis. And we tried that angle. Unfortunately, it got nailed and killed us and killed the argument. So we can't retry. We can't double jeopardy that argument here. So unfortunately, the religious argument won't work in Canada, but we're hoping to see it in other places. I believe it is a religion, if you wish. I believe most importantly is that the plant simply has not been discovered enough. There's enough anecdotal evidence to suggest it should be fully studied, but yet the governments of the world have put no money into research and development. But the big pharmaceutical companies have. Why do you think GH Pharmaceutical came out with Sativex, the first pure cannabis derivative? Under all of our eyes. It's been around for 10 years. Under all of our eyes. A pure cannabis derivative was put back into pharmacopoeia. Something a doctor can look at and can prescribe, and they can charge you. And you can pick it up at the pharmacy. And yes, it's cannabis derived with alcohol. That's all. And it's made by GW Pharmaceuticals. So we need to know what it is that we're dealing with. It's like the $600 vial I was talking about earlier that arrived in Australia that had the Tilray sign on it. So you see the logo, then you see the pharmaceutical cost, and it's $600, and it's like, that's a lot of money. But they're getting away with it because there's nobody else that can supply it. Jenny Hellam, the hero of Australia, that was giving oil away, was the Rick Simpson of Australia, basically, giving free oil away to help people stop their kids from seizuring, and she was charged for producing cannabis and giving it away, and they're looking at putting her in jail now. And this is a sad, sad time, internationally and domestically, for the cannabis culture and all the people that got us here, because there's so many closet smokers coming out now, and they're seeing what's going on, and slowly people are waking up that these countries are being monopolized, and this is probably why they're good at what they do. They've probably monopolized so many times that they really know what they're doing. They've got a good grasp on how to take over a country, and they've really tried to do that here. Here they didn't expect 2 federal trials, R.V. Smith and Allard. These 2 trials turned over the government's plans and dropped them on their head and made them write something constitutional. That's different than what's going on in the future. That doesn't mean the government can't write more bad policy and then we have to take them back to court again. I would note that there has been 16 constitutional challenges to get us to where we are in relation to medicinal cannabis. So how many more constitutional challenges, charter challenges, is there going to be over legalization and the Cannabis Act? My prediction is that there's going to be a lot. And this fight just continues until supply and demand is met and the market has settled. And I think because we're a free and democratic peoples, we're not going to take well to be enforced by a monopoly to be told to pay $15 for something I can get down the street for $5. It'll always be your neighborhood grower will be the person to go to. So everybody remember that. Keep your heads up. Hopefully you have a wonderful shatter day. I'm going to go smoke some of my shatter with my wife. You want me to whip it?
No! I brought you back.
It's gotten hard.
They're cold because Chris face.
Can I show you why I want to whip it?
What?
Can I show you why I want to whip it?
No.
Can I show you why?
Yeah.
I'll blast. I'll blast another 2 ounces. I'll put another 2 ounces in the system.
How fast that cold came on. Oh wow, that was awesome.
No, but
it's
feel
saucy.
it, but it's not saucy. You can show the camera and put it right in front.
Sticky.
Yeah, but it's sticky. It's not. It's not like the fresh frozen.
No.
That's secured stuff. That's why I said to you we might want to whip it and just smoke it. I think too much air was in that one.
Let's whip it.
Yeah, fuck it. We'll whip it. We'll whip it. Whip it.
Real good.
Whip it real good. I'm with you, honey.
Chris, all right. On FaceTime. You know what? Just for the joke, for the whole team, everybody can hear. My 19-year-old.
We're live. We're live.
I know. I figured that. My 19-year-old got his hands on some edibles. Him and 4 friends. Exactly a 250 milligram cookie. Got them all fucked up. 2 of them were sick. I was talking to him the whole way. I was laughing my ass off. He was a smart one. He goes, I know from you and from seeing, remember when my dad greened out? He's like, I remember seeing Papa green out.
Well, hopefully you guys can see.
So he's like, I wasn't fucking around with any of that shit. So he only ate a corner.
Whip it. Whip it good. Whip it. Yeah, whip it good. That's fucking hilarious.
He was the only one, wow! It didn't puke.
Alright. You'll see both Vicky and I will scream if the dab is about to hit the fire. Everything else stops. It don't matter if there's a car crash out front, man. Save the dabs. Save the dabs. So what you see me doing now is just doing a quick whip. And I know people said don't whip it. It's only because I'm going to be doing a larger test. I feel there was too much air. I know by whipping this right now, I'm turning it into a butter. Most of y'all know how to make a butter. That's not complicated. I didn't let this fully go to crystal, but it's a bit sandy. This is what you guys will hear. Oh well, there's sandy sauce, and then there's terpy sauce, or there's butter, or there's toffee. This is more of a toffee. You can see by its thickness, right? So it's more of a toffee style, and it's just going to thicken up more. It's more of that color that you're looking for. So it's sort of a sauce / color. Actually, live resin, if you put it in, they sell live resin in these little containers like this. This is a form of crumble, but in a little form like this would be live resin. And you would just put this in there, and this is the texture that you're looking for. So I just wanted to show people really quick that how I flipped that was just by spinning it around. So when you hear me saying I'm whipping it or I'm going to whip it, you know, that's what we're talking about. And the more you whip it around, it'll change its chemistry. And if you really want to get interesting, stick it in the fucking freezer for 20 minutes, take it out, and then fucking allow it to de-thaw, whip it again, and start fucking around with temperatures, start fucking around with humidity, and start seeing what it does to cannabis, because it's quite interesting, the different things it can do. Now what I've done is turning it into a softer, more saucy, usable, see? It'll sit there and drip. So this is all cannabis chemistry being done right on Cannabis Canada Live for you right here. You can see that that's like a sauce. That's live. That's ready to go, and that's done. And it's literally it's only going to thicken up from this point as long as I let air hit it. I'm going to hit it because I want to try the terpenes and flavonoids. So yeah, no, I didn't let it go to diamonds, Jason. You know what? When I opened it up, I realized that the texture's not there that I'm looking for. I'd rather do the 4 plants we're going to be doing, very large plants. and it'll be a much bigger extraction. I want to have equal air to product. In this case, I had like a little tiny layer on the bottom, so I decided to whip it and at least show you guys. Boom, there it is. That's how easy it is. So even if you decide you don't want to make diamonds, 72 hours into it, I decided I didn't want to make diamonds. I just took the lid off, whipped it onto the show. I'm about to dab it, and you can see its color. It's live resin. It's nice, golden, beautiful color, and it will change its constitution as I speak. It'll get more toffee, and the more air it gets to it right now. Oh, this will make a person sit down. I've almost knocked myself out a couple times by accident. I've actually, where your arms go numb and you're like, I probably shouldn't have done that. Yeah, I've been there. RB Growers in the house. RB Growers in the house. What's up, RB? What's up, RB? I can't sing worth a shit, but that was good, and you know it, cause I'm saying it, and I'm talking shit. And that's okay, cause you know it's it. I'm telling you, I wish I could fucking send this through email to you guys right now. One day the technology will be there, damn it, that I can just dab you guys. I can just fucking bring you on the show and dab you. And that'll be the real. So I just quickly flipped it there, babe. Here. But that taste, wow.
The smell was awesome when you opened the jar, man.
Oh no, the terps are there. The terps are there, but I'm gonna keep whipping it while we're talking. I decided just to keep fucking running with this because we're having fun.
Anybody else have this? Skin disorders with your fibromyalgia where your skin just cracks and bleeds and oh man. Fibromyalgia, the symptoms that are just fucking never ending.
So now it's turning sauce.
Wicked flare up with my skin right now.
I expected it to thicken like the toffee, but it's turning back to sauce. Interesting. Interesting. But anyway, you can see there now, it's no longer a bunch of little bubbles. It's now a butter. Or what they call live resin. Now, most importantly, like Vicky said, she could smell it as soon as I open the jar. That's what matters. We've trapped the terpenes, and that's why you keep it in a sealed jar. If I leave this open, I'm just going to lose all that work.
I have a dab challenge for everybody. When your Chinese glass like really lets you down.
Oh, fuck that! What the fuck happened there? What? Oh, battery died. I'll let them know. 1 sec. 1 sec, guys. 1 sec. I believe you can still hear me. So, as I keep talking, don't worry about the black screen. It is just a battery change. My beautiful partner is now swapping out the battery for me. And luckily she's here because otherwise I would have to jump up and knock myself over. Wow. Yeah, thanks for the love, guys. Honestly, there we go. We're back up and on it.
I have a hard time getting that back in there. So anyway, yeah, you know your Chinese glass has let you down when this happened.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
For real.
I don't even know if you can see this. I'm going to take it off my rig.
No, don't take it off. Yeah, show them that way. Do you see the bottom of that rig? I wanted her to see that this morning.
That was me last night. I warmed this up after I spent hours cleaning. Friday night is my house cleaning.
I'm telling you, it's that cheap glass store in Granville.
I fucking lit this with my torch like I would regularly, and it literally just snapped apart.
Cheap Chinese glass.
That's what I was gonna say. There's my Chinese glass challenge. Top this bitch. It didn't shatter in my face.
Yeah, where did that dab cool go?
Don't buy cheap glass, ladies and gents.
Where did that dab stick go?
I have the dab stick. I haven't taken it out
This thing's clogging up.
Oh, isn't he clean?
Yeah.
I'll clean it.
I must be pulling too hard, and sauce is going right down, right, and you can just see it all caking in there.
Yeah. That's a
It's
little
like
Rico.
2 days though.
I know.
Oh man, scared myself. All right. Anyway, hopefully everybody's having a great day. I'm just checking back in on the comments here. It's hard to watch both chats, and again, there were also iHeartRadio we're streaming to as well. So to the people listening on iHeart, I apologize for all the ums and ahs. I've been working on that as well. There I do it again. Coming through the radio, it's different. You don't see all the stuff that we're doing, so it's a little bit different for us to sit here and say we're whipping something. But you can imagine it, and you can always watch the show later on
I'm
YouTube.
taking my first sauce dab.
Damn, that was strong. Oh, that's the Gibbs cycler. It's dirty as fuck too.
That's because we dab in this house. Oh my god, that's wicked, man.
Isn't it good?
Oh shit. Oh fuck.
Meets the Vicky Dab's approval.
Oh my god, Jason, that's fucking badass. Wow. Oh shit. I'm so glad we whipped that. Oh snap, that is good.
I know. I mean, look at it, it's just getting more saucy by the second.
Yeah, look at the beautiful color of that.
It's just changing up. So I don't know if you guys can see that, but literally this is changing as the show continues.
It's like buttery.
So.
It's like the color of a soft butter almost. Oh god, that's beautiful.
But it's also saucy.
It's really nice. Oh my god.
And then the smell, which
These fucking terps don't lie.
yeah, I was just gonna say the smell. You don't want to keep your lid off. That's the thing. Once you trap your terps in there, you want to keep them
Let
off.
it dry out.
If you let it dry out, you're fucked. So anyway, most importantly is we did that quick whip. I wanted to show you that though. So your basic blast, your syrup, you know, that you collect in your bowl at the end of your closed loop system. You know, you open. I don't know, where's my system? Okay, so this is a 1 pound tank. Now in a 1 pound tank, this will hold, in here is your collection tank. Now on the other side I have the pipe, you know, pipe connects and everything. This goes to the gas. Anyway, you would have this. Now the newer ones have a fisheye so you can look in. But anyway, this is an old passive system. My point is, in your collection tray, in here, you collect it, you take that oil, and you put that oil into a jar, but you don't whip it. You just let it sit. And if it's the right, my concern is this time, the reason I whipped it is because I just wanted to flip it to live resin. Instead, next time, you guys will see I'll have a thick jar with very little air, because my friends that make diamonds use very little air. And just it allows the process to just chemically, and it takes about 20 days, 30 days. It doesn't happen real super fast. Fresh frozen, it'll happen within, if it's really good weed, really good cannabinoids. When I say that, I mean just really well grown cannabis, and it's fresh cut and chopped up. You will definitely retain on. You don't get as much back as you would cured bud. Cured bud, you still got the terps, you still got the smell, but you get a nice live resin. But you don't get as many diamonds. So like I said, the next one will be up here. So again, in your collection tray at the end, you know, you take your clamp off, which is like right here. My clamp would just come off. Open it up. Inside your seal, of course my seals are fucking tight as fuck. Oh, fuck it. Alright, the other side is the one that I want to show you probably more on the show. As you can see, I don't use these. They're just kind of sitting in the background. Anybody needing a passive closed loop system, let me know.
Never been used, just saying.
Yep, just saying.
Hit us up. That bitch is worth
It's been in police locker and back out.
Honestly, it's never been used. It's brand, yeah.
Aside from that,
She has a little bit of story, which is actually fun.
no story on it, but it's got 2 1-pound pipes, and it can do, yeah,
5 pounds?
it can do 2 pounds at a time. But anyway, I got the system over there. But most importantly is I want people to see that that's the oil you collect. And this was a very small test. This was just a couple ounces. So this was a very, very small test. So the average patient would not be able to afford these big 1 pound systems, nor would you need them. So the average patient would be able to afford like a 1 ounce or 2 ounce system. And they're a lot more cheaper these days. They're come down to 500, 600, so you can save up. If you really are a dabber or an extractor, if that's what you want to be, if that's what you want to do, it's becoming possible. That's all I'm trying to say to everybody. You do me a super big favor, babe? I didn't expect to go this long, but there's a few more people tuning in because I think people are just waking up. Like I said, I didn't go out drinking for one of my first Friday nights in like 3 years. I had no drinking whatsoever. So I woke up this morning feeling great. I was up before Vicky and I came downstairs and I just went straight on and just did my show and said, you know what, I don't even know what I'm going to talk about. I have no notes in front of me. I've just been freestyling this shit, man. But you know what, it's been good having you guys on and thanks for staying and tuning in. You know, when we keep enough people, you know, collectively right now we got about 20 people watching. So if I've got 20 people watching and we didn't even let you know we were coming on the air, that's good. I look forward to streamlining. Right now there's a person that's helping me with the funneling of all my social media, so that basically you guys will get a message either through email or through something when we're going live and in advance, and enough advance that if you wanted to watch it, you could. We're also considering some planned seminars that are going to be pre-recorded, and you'll be able to then, if you choose, watch those classes. And those classes will be about specific types of growing, methodologies, like rerouting floral hormones, for instance, tissue culture, infusion tinctures. These will all be live seminars that we'll do, and people will be allowed to attend. After doing about 800 videos for free, I think it's about time that I do some seminars that aren't necessarily free but reasonable. And I think that that's where we're heading. And at the same time, we're doing a lot of consultant work. So we really do need, you know, in Cannabis Canada ourselves, we've always been, and this is what people forget, is that Cannabis Canada has always been an educational platform for people. That's all we've ever been. You know, there's never been a donate button, there's never been a buy our weed button, you know, there's never been a fucking shopping cart button for you to buy our shit. We did this because we believed in what we were doing. Now that we've legalized and we see a future, I believe that based on those rules, we'll see a future. And the reason, I noticed somebody mentioned Dana Larson's dispensary. Again, I posted it, guys. John Conroy's filing a federal constitutional challenge, and Jack Lloyd's filing it. I don't know which one's filing it, but they're both working together on it. And it's for compassion clubs, not dispensaries. It's for compassion clubs to deal with medicinal dispensing of cannabis to medicinal patients. It doesn't change that when this trial is over, said dispensaries, Dana Larson, Karuna Health Foundation, whoever it is that are plaintiffs on that case, whoever turns out to push back, those will be your compassion clubs. And then they'll allow certain amount of compassion clubs per city.
And while this fight is going on, we should all be supporting these guys that are pushing back.
Exactly. While this fight is going on, we need to make a pushback. Because what we're doing right now is we're allowing, if Mr. Conroy goes through with this and Mr. Lloyd goes through with this, it would allow compassion clubs to stay open for an extremely long time. And now, I mean, with this kid, it could take 5 years in federal court. You know, so.
And how awesome would that be?
And also, we would also be able to change it for patients. It doesn't change, and I just want people to understand this, that when the trial is over, and if Dana wins, and if Karuna wins, or whoever else are plaintiffs, our Green Cross Society of British Columbia is also plaintiffs on this case. If they
Just Compassion?
If they end up winning, I don't know if Justin's a plaintiff.
Oh shit, I'm sorry.
Anyway, we don't actually know who's plaintiffs to the statement of claims filed. Right now, Mr. Conroy is still putting it together. People interested, if you run a compassion club, if you serve only patients, get a hold of Mr. Conroy and get your name on this statement of claim. There's one trust account that funds the whole case, just like Allard. John Conroy didn't come out of retirement to do this case because he needs the money. He did it honestly because it's the right thing to do. There's a law that they're admitting medical dispensing and they're admitting medical education in favor of CCBO profiteering and monopolization of the country, forcing us to take what they tell us to take. This is not a doctorian nation. This is a free and democratic country, nation. That's what we all need to remember. We all need to believe, and we all need to really put it together. At the end of this, we hope to have our own microbreweries be able to supply our own medical cannabis dispensaries. That would be ideal. Co-ops supplying their own dispensary, so members of that co-op can go to the said dispensary and get whatever it is that they want. Like right now, here's my problem. Right now, said clubs, the dispensary, Dana Larson, Corona Health Foundation, Sasha, and Bonnie. These are all friends of mine. Green Cross Society, Steve. I know all these people. These are...
Open your phone.
What?
Can I see your phone for a sec? I'm going to give you this copy, and I'm going to share that around a wee bit.
Oh shit, I'm sorry guys, I lost track of what the fuck. I was just getting onto a good rant. Anyway, if somebody can repeat to me what the fuck I was just saying, I'd appreciate that. Shit.
You have a bit of a... You have Jerry Provost on there kind of just getting in the way of the chat, and he's just not really being...
Well, Jerry Provost, how about don't buy LP weed? Well, Jerry, then how about you grow your own weed and don't worry about what other people do? Advocating against... This is what bothers me, is that I fought for years to legalize so that people smoke weed. I don't give a fuck where they get it from. Smoke weed. I support you because you smoke weed. That's what I advocate for. So I'm not going to say, but don't smoke that weed, or you're a bad guy. No, fuck that. You're the bad guy suggesting that people are bad for what they choose.
That's right. That's called autonomy.
That's called freedom. Autonomy, autonomous use of the body. And quite frankly, it's your one's right to liberty to choose what they wish to put in their body. Whether it's from an LP and they know it's toxic, it's our job to teach them it's toxic. It's our job to teach them the gamma processor. I'm not an LP supporter. I'm just a truth talker. I don't think anybody should have to pay $15 a gram. I think right now that they're illegally taxing medical patients. Any medical patient that buys from a licensed producer and pays tax is being... In my opinion, I'm not a lawyer, in my opinion, they're illegally taxing you. They're putting you in the same class as a non-medical user because they want to admit that there's no medical. And it scares me for what's coming next year. You think I'm fucking around? I ain't fucking around. I've been doing this shit since 2012 and I've been thrown down for 25 fucking years to get to where we are. I sure as hell didn't stand out in the rain in 420 to hand it over to fucking licensed producers to make it their pop party of the year. No, fuck that.
No, but it goes back to what you said. There is a right, a fucking God-given right. If somebody wants to buy Tilray weed, I don't. But if they do, they have a God-given right in this country, or universal right, whatever you want to call it. They have a right in this country.
You do. And that's what Parker...
Whatever you want into you.
No, this goes back to Parker and Allard. I'll point to both because it comes down to the medical right to autonomy. Yes. Autonomous use of the body. If you're not hurting anybody else or yourself... Anybody else or yourself... As long as you're not hurting anybody else or yourself, then you're fine. And that's what Parker was about. Autonomy. Medical use of the body. And now we're looking at different things. People are saying, you know, don't... I lost track of what I was going with there.
What about people's God-given right to autonomy?
Again, I've not forgot the small guy. Jerry, this is the problem, is I think that you forgot potentially that the small guys are still fighting. I am one of the small guys. I just took down the federal government of Canada. I still have them under a restraining order, and I'm suing them for breaching 41,000 patients' privacy. Check it out, Google it, it's fucking fact. I'm not trying to blow smoke up my ass, I'm just putting the facts on the table. You know how you fight back and change policy? You don't bitch and complain. You organize. And when you find an angle with a lawyer, you attack. If you can find an angle with a politician, you attack. And if you can apply political pressure, you attack. Or you share information on social media, and we attack. Through collective knowledge, collective peer empowerment, and collective peer action. By virtue of showing up at 420 and saying, we are not going to take part in anything other than a protest. This is the thing, is that people have turned it into a farmer's market, which is fine because it's become a profitable market. And to each their own. But it's very hard to protest laws when people are justifying the present ones. You know, when the people on stage are getting up saying it, look, we legalized, woohoo, summer legalization, everybody should be happy. Nobody's happy. And for the rest of the world who's watching on YouTube, who thinks that Canada's happy, we're not happy. There's no stores. There's not enough stores in every city. People don't have access. And if you're not competent, and again, this isn't nothing bad against anybody. Growing cannabis is not necessarily fun. It's a lot of fucking work. To grow really good cannabis is a lot of work. You have to have a lot of attention to detail, and you have to be willing to to stay committed to a 4-month project.
Oh my God.
So it's not for everybody. Now, because of that, other people can't. You gonna live?
I just, oh my God.
If you green out, fall backwards. Slow down on the dabbing, knucklehead.
That wasn't even a big one. That was just sauce. Oh my God, fuck.
It's good, eh? That's the sauce kicking and not Vicky out of the ass.
Shit.
Sorry, guys. But
so cute at all. So
what was I covering there?
Oh, shiza. Oh, that's the problem. Wow, I can't even talk.
Well, Jerry, again, this is the thing, is that there's, out of 100 companies, right, that are these licensed producers. This is why I say there isn't an us and them, because that's not fair to just throw every licensed producer under the bus, just like it wasn't fair to throw every grower under the bus and say you're all collecting mold and starting fire and you're all tied to organized crime. That was wrong. That's why we took them to court.
Jerry, if you continue to be a
Who's
problem in the comments, we're going to have to block you from the show, and that's just the bottom line.
Are you suggesting I'm spreading lies, Jerry?
Yes. You know what? It's about it's time, Jerry. Actually, you know what, Jerry? If you're going to continue, we're just going to have to remove you from the show. You can't come in and fuck with us. It's Saturday, dude, and it's positive vibes on and you've been warned.
I'll have to find him on the friggin' thing here. Anyway, and it's also been a long show, but
But that dog, I can't even talk. That dog. Now I sound like your sister. That dog. That dog was pretty killer.
Jerry, what you're being at this point is confusing to me. That's all. I'm trying to figure out where you're coming from.
You know
so,
what? Dude, you're just getting.
Stop, Vicky.
You're confusing everybody.
I'm just saying, you know, you're being confusing, and what'll happen is my chat, and other people will recognize you, and they'll just jump on it. My administrator's not on here. That would normally just remove you if it was confusing. You seem to be confused around really what's going on in this country, who's working in what. The people launching these federal cases, from the breach of privacy case to the Allard case to the now constitutional charter challenge for Compassion Club's case, the real one with John Conroy and Jack Lloyd, are people like me. So it's really an insult that you would actually try and walk on my show and start talking like there's any lies being spread. What lies?
Well, you know what? I'm not going to give
So-
into the negativity because you know what? We're all about being positive and staying positive. We're really, working hard on our physical fitness, our health, and our wellness, and our mind is a big part of that. And your mind is a contributing factor. And so, Jerry, you know what? I'm not going to give you any more of my power, nor will the show. If you don't want to be positive, we're asking you to be positive or leave the show. It's that simple.
Well, we don't have an administrator on there. I don't think that can
I'll take your phone and do it.
that can remove them. But yeah. Oh, okay, he's blocked.
Awesome.
All right, Jerry. Sorry about you've been blocked. You'll get that notification, I'm sure, within 3 seconds. But I didn't know I could block people that easy. So it is what it is. I'm sorry, guys, but I'm not going to allow that kind of stuff to come on the show because what it does is it takes Saturday away from us.
Yep.
I want you guys to leave the show with a smile.
That's right.
And say, you know what? That was some cool information. That was some cool. Just flipping a butter. We made butter together.
We had fun together.
We made it's not even butter. It's live resin.
It's like live resin buttery. You know what? I sound all snottery. This girl was in yoga the other morning.
Where's
damn it. Snotting all over the place. What are you looking for? Oh, the stick?
Yeah. Stole my dab stick, man.
Sorry, man.
Okay. Why did our camera go black? Our camera's not black. Our camera's up. Our audio's up. So that's just what it is. Oh shit. Hey, can I call you back? I'm just live on the air. Shit. Can I call you back? I'm just live on the air. Are you okay? All right. Thanks. Bye. All right, sorry guys. Yeah, just crazy.
Happy Saturday.
Yeah, happy Saturday. And again, I wanted to show again the texture of this because it's had a chance to sit and stabilize now, and you'll recognize almost any of it as your standard old school kind of butter, but it's live resin. It's been blasted and it's also been properly cured sitting around. Other than waiting it to go to sand and everything, it's one thing I didn't let it go this time. It's a choice. I think it's to each their own when it comes to that. But it was more people want to know when they whip it at the end. A lot of people miss that step on just how easy it is if you're not necessarily looking to make shatter. If you're looking to make shatter, you're going to need to cook that in an oven much longer. If you're looking to make diamonds, you're going to have to let it sit much longer. And every now and then you're going to get a troll that's going to come on your show and you're going to have to learn how to delete them like I did today. But
well, it's always nice to invite people to reframe what they're doing and say, you know what, we like for you to stay in the show. Let's ask you to, change your experience and your outlook and your comments. And when the person doesn't want to do that, you know what, it's important that we take care of each other in this community and we stay safe and we have a positive experience. So it's
part of it. On that note, it's part of the reason that we do Cannabis in Canada group the way that we do, and we have administrators that follow very strict protocol, and every member is treated the same, and that's the only way to keep it fair.
Yeah.
Everybody agrees to 3 rules when they come in, and we have a protocol in place, and that protocol is enforced by our administrators who are, often online and often very diligent to that group. And what it does is it allows positivity to stay in the group and allows no negativity, no drug sales, no you're a punk, you're a bitch, none of that crap, no F-bombs, none of that crap is getting dropped in our group. Without that said person being either spoken to and or banned or removed. These things have happened. And equally, we keep the show safe. Usually I have Keith on the show, and when Keith's on the show, he will just boot people. I didn't know it was that easy for me to just block somebody from my cell phone. So that makes it a little bit easier. Unfortunately, trolls like that are usually using fake accounts to begin with. And if they're using fake accounts to begin with, then they just make another one and come back. But you know what? That's what the block button is for. It's a lot. It takes me 2 seconds to hit block. It takes them 10 minutes to build a new account. So, it's just the way it goes sometimes. I just wish people would, would share more information on the positive note. Everybody here today has been positive. Trainwreck Flower. There you go, Jason. Figured out THC separation rosin. It's a game changer. Rob, that's what we said we want. We said before the show that I said halfway through the show that we understand that there's live rosin diamonds.
Yes.
And then there's live resin diamonds. Now I've learned to make. I've learned to make live resin diamonds, and I've proven that by way of video and picture. Now it's time to learn how to make rosin diamonds, and I just happen to have a friend that is an experienced rosin maker and really knows his stuff around that. So definitely something to think about. And this is number one.
You should weigh that.
Huh?
You should scale that. See what our actual there's a few grams there, easy.
Oh, there's at least 7 grams. It's heavy because it's a heavy molecule. You guys do turf sauce. When you look at it, you'll look at an ounce and you'll be like, that's really an ounce, and it actually is. It's just there's diamonds and shit in there. If it's just sauce, it's just sauce. There'll be no diamonds. You have to wait longer.
Yeah, Rob, I've only seen the rosin diamonds are fucking crazy because they look white and crystalline and beautiful. I haven't smoked any. They look amazing as well. I know we'd definitely like to, and we'd definitely like to learn on how to make it. Yeah, I definitely sent some pics. That was dope. Ooh, Romulan. Oh, that's one of my most favorite strains ever, Justin.
A good friend of mine, Sci-Fi, grows Romulan.
I was gonna say, oh man, his is fucking fire.
And that's good stuff too. And again, it's been a long show, but it's been a long show where we've covered everything from live resin to 420. Again, I don't agree with people paying to protest. If you're there to protest and it's not a permitted event, remember in America, you guys get permits like it's easy because you get insurance shit. But in Canada here, it's not so easy to get a permit for a park. So when you can't get a permit, everybody's illegal. Everybody that shows up is illegal. There's just a quasi-agreement with the city to make sure ambulance services and police services can still do their job so nobody gets hurt in the public. That's the only coordination going on. But that does not equate to taking $500 a booth or whatever the hell the price is that they charge per booth, for all these people to protest the law. It's now turning into a farmer's market, which I don't mind either because really that's your local farmers and these are the people that I support. So it's really a really quasi thing that's going on, and then there's the licensed producers and the other people that are trying, in my own opinion, to take over 420 as a profitable event. Not that we'll sell wares every time, but a profitable event nonetheless. Sponsorship wise, getting your name placed. We have 80,000 people show up at 420 here in BC, so it's a big event. Licensed producers aren't allowed to promote right now. It makes it a little harder for them to get involved that way, but it doesn't mean that that these things are possible. So I want us to all be alert to that as we go into the first summer of legalization in the country of Canada. It's the first summer, and we're all going to get to see how this plays out, whether good, bad, or indifferent. I'm going to really hope that Mr. Conroy goes through with this case and that we have a Compassion Club case, because I fear that they're really trying to omit medical in favor of a one-tier system where 4 plants, if you need any more, the provincial regulatory reform will cover you, whatever that is that they do. And then we're really screwed because they could take our plant counts away and our gardens are once again subject to being removed. You have no right to grow a plant. You only have right to access. Yeah, it makes your mouth water.
What's that?
Makes your mouth water.
I don't know.
And you can taste that plant base. Amazing. Okay. Oh, we're just kind of killing time and wasting time, and I see a lot more people tuning in. It's funny. Been on for like 3 hours. Yeah, exactly 3 hours. And then I'm going to take my lady down to our little, I don't know, did I like that shit yesterday?
Yeah, I've been in the lineup.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I swapped back from that area.
Oh, is that ever a good dab?
I'm really lined up already.
Pasta?
I don't know. It's too early for that. What about? We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. God damn, that was good. I was screaming myself out. Oh, yeah, makes your mouth water. I haven't heard of the strain Thelma. This is a problem with people naming strains now, is they're not actually farming them. So they're not keeping the lineage, and it's part of the reason that arguably most growers that are experienced will tell you that almost 90% of the plants you're going to be able to obtain are going to be hybrids. They're not indica, they're not sativa, though they have skinny leaves, and though you're positive they're sativa dominant, but they're still a hybrid. They'll have indica traits. This is the unfortunate part of all the crossbreeding that's happened and accidental breeding that's happened in people's basements, and guys sharing seeds, and outdoor crops. The birds are getting them, dropping them down, accidentally pollinating other fields. There's been all kinds of different reasons for why we have so many different genetic patterns, and why some genetics are stable, some genetics produce shit, some genetics produce big buds, and some genetics produce hermaphrodite because they're destabilized. Wow, we've covered a lot of topics today. Also, one best out to see to try myself. Never heard of Gusto. I'm gonna pretty much call this because I gotta get some food into me now. They started talking about food, and this stuff's way too strong. I'm interested in this genetics conversation going on Facebook, actually. Crop King Seeds, because again, you got to understand that. Just trust when you're buying your seeds, where you're buying them from. It's very important. And once you do get that good genetic, that genotype, when you find that strain, save it. No matter what it takes, because you can tissue culture it later and chase out any disease or anything else that might have been brought onto it. So that's something to always keep in mind. We're in a new dawn. We're in a new era. 1, legalization. 2, you can sit at home and plant tissue culture right on your kitchen counter, and the police can't do a damn thing about it. So this is what matters, is that people understand what their rights are. I got deep water culture going. We did that, and then we again, this is something that we did for the company, so we're not gonna keep going too much with it. A lot of our work has been off the grid. This has been the problem, is people don't see us doing live. They see us doing these little live shows. We're trying to update, but we're diligently filming in the background, either documentaries or going to business meetings or meeting with people that can help us finish these projects so that we can get them out to the viewers that want to see it. And that's been a spectrum that I've been asked that across the board for a while. Are you still going to do this documentary? Are you guys going to complete it? And like I said, it's been filmed, except for a couple of people. It's more now that I have to have the right team to produce it. We're trying to update, but we're diligently filming in the background. That was weird.
That was really weird.
Totally weird. And like I said, it's been filmed. Somebody have access to my phone? My phone was just sitting there. But aside from that, I'm interested in the stability of the mic. I don't know why my software let me down, but that's okay. We've had a chance to review a few different articles around Bonafide. Like I said, they the fact that they had their license suspended. That was a main thing that I wanted people to really stay focused on too. So I'll once again put this on only because I want people to look at. That was a main thing. The more they try to criminalize we the people, we the free people. Once again put this on. The more they try to monopolize the cannabis plant. That was the cannabis seed. The more they try to criminalize tissue cultures, the people forthwith. We the free people. Once again, put this on. The more they try to do that, Health Canada has also went and suspended the sales, the cannabis licensing on the base and tissue cultures Bonafide forthwith because they were backdooring. And the fact that the case has been forwarded to the RCMP and the Revenue Agency tells me two things. One, they're going to check them for taxes, tax evasion, any other shortcuts these guys may have taken. The fact that the case, if that's one case, and the second part of the investigation is going to be tells one to this 200 or 200 kilos, and somebody needs to get charged. And as an advocate, I feel it's my second part to just keep following that until they do it. And I'm still saying that about 200 kilos, and somebody needs to be charged, go missing, and have the RCMP not go missing, then have the RCMP say it contravenes the law, but nobody gets charged. Somebody needs to be charged, go missing, and I ask you, who else can the RCMP back for 200 kilos and not have the RCMP say it contravenes the law, but nobody should be charged justice. Just go missing. And I ask you, who else can the RCMP back for 200 kilos? It's a crazy thing for us to deal with as a country. Again, there's a lot to go on with conspiracy, monopoly. You know, you can read all through the different reports on Bonafide. It's quite disgusting. It's only because I know what it was like to be on trial for 4 years as being accused, along with 41,000 other patients, being accused of fucking mold and fire and organized crime. And we're medical patients. Most of us in wheelchairs and canes. And that's the funny part. What took down the federal government of Canada was no big millionaire, was no big tycoon. What took down the federal government of Canada was a lot of collective peer action led by collective peer empowerment. And if this country could learn anything from that, we can move mountains, change policy, and set a free and fair market in place for this country and for the future of our kids. I feel I've served my time, done my part, and I can only pray that the next person steps up and does theirs. On that note, I hope everybody enjoys their Saturday. Continue to put your beans down, share your information, stay on people. When they're sharing misinformation and you know they're lying, get on them. Just make sure that information's accurate. Let's make cannabis the talk of the table, around the table at home. On that note, this is Jason Wilcox signing out. Thank you, everybody. Happy Saturday from Vicky and I, and we wish you all the best. Love you.